The following program contains strong language that is not suitable for young children. Viewer discretion is advised. In 2019, Michael X won the Wrestling Rundown Championship, taking the world by storm. But then, the virus attacked. These men promptly escaped from mental insanity by talking about the nerdiest shit on the internet, filmed in the Massachusetts underground. Today, still wanted by the people of YouTube, they survive as nerds, weebs, and dorks of fortune. If you have an obsession, if no one else can talk, and if you can subscribe to them, maybe you can hire the Indy Force.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Indy Force Podcast, a podcast for nerds, weebs, and dorks of fortune. It's an extra episode today, and I got the gang all here, but we also have judges today, and they are our guests. We're going to introduce them one by one, because this Indy Force is going to be a lot, and I repeat, a lot different than what you're normally used to seeing. But we'll get to that later. First, introducing the guest. He is a multi-time Wrestling Rundown and Heavyweight Predictions champion, and he currently is the Wrestling Rundown champion, unless I'm completely screwing that up. He is Mr. John Tuddy. Say hello, John.
Hello.
And why do you... I get it, Mike, but stop. Stop it. Anyway.
What in the hell was he doing?
I don't know.
I'm eating a burger.
Because you got it from Wendy's, and Wendy's is good.
I have pound cake.
How are... God damn it, Matt. How are you doing today, John?
Okay. A grand total of okay. I had to work today.
A grand total of okay.
Wait, so did I, John. By the way, this bud's for you.
Nice.
That's the greatest answer ever.
John, just quit. I'm telling you, for your own health, just quit.
I need another job before I can quit.
Yeah, dude, he's being the smart thing. Go look for other jobs.
I am.
If you quit, I will literally give you a sandwich a day. It's worth way more than trying to fucking. I'll give you. I'll give you some toilet paper. How's that? That's good.
Nice.
I'll throw in some hand sanitizers for you.
That was disinfected. We'll make a deal.
Fair enough. Also with us, of course. So John is obviously going to play the part as a judge, as a wrestling fan, playing the part of the judge as a gamer. Mr. Matthew Nova. He's the current Anarchy champion for our CAW show, Weymouth Youth Wrestling. Say hello, Matt.
Pound cake.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, we decided
He's
to get
not wrong. Pound cake is actually pretty good.
It is
what? To be honest, I'm glad we got the short yellow bus in here today. That's
Hey, you know what? In fairness, most of us were on the short yellow bus in this chat right now. Me included.
And you popped the mystery.
No, I was too.
Wait, you guys were in a bus?
bus today is boy.
I think it's more of a... Oh, that's much better, John, by the way.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like I have
by the way, I like your beard.
Thank you.
And joining us, an outsider, and he's probably feeling like, what am I doing here? No, I'm kidding. This guy's actually from my group that we are both a part of called the Team All Elite Chat. He is Mr. Michael. I'll just call you Michael, right? We're calling you Michael. Can we call you Michael?
Michael's fine. Yeah. I guess I'll be the mystery in the air, the mystery voice.
Oh, the mystery voice. So we're gonna nickname you Bumblebee from this point on. I hope you know. I'm sorry about that,
Mr. Bumblebee.
Don't know how to sound, but we'll have an idea.
I thought I stopped hearing voices in my head years ago.
What do you say, Randy Orton?
Anyway, well, how
They
you
talk to
doing?
me. They understand. They talk to me.
How are you doing today, Mike?
I'm reasonable. I live in. I guess this is a good time to introduce myself a little bit. I live in beautiful Colorado.
Beautiful weed-infested Colorado.
Yeah. It's speaking of, no.
I'm like and I grab pot.
Just get a big giant handful.
I'm doing well. I was getting ready to watch some AEW Dark, and I saw you sent out that message, and I thought this would be a fun topic to hop on to. You're
gonna like this. You're gonna like this.
And by the way, you're gonna be the main judge. You are the Simon Cowell, so to say, to the other two here, because you are actually the wrestling fanatic and a gamer. In a sense.
I do enjoy both. So
there you go. That's his.
Rise up.
The only way to test if he's a real gamer, James, is asking him the question: who has the sickest DDT in gaming? We will only accept one answer. Lindsay.
That's a tough one. I can't go away from Jake the Snake. The legends.
You're correct. That would be Alex from Third Strike. Thank you for playing. Get the fuck out.
Alex from Third Strike. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a bad DDT. You know
the
what?
animation is fantastic.
Yes. In fact, speaking of video games, obviously. So we're going to actually present. So Mike and I, along with the help of Casey and Nikos, created a PowerPoint presentation on what AEW, obviously you see it in the title, should do for their video game. Now, how this is going to work is John, Matt, and Michael P. are going to kind of observe, take in the presentation, give keynotes or whatever they want to do. If they want to interrupt and ask a question, they can as we go along through this project. And if they agree, great. If they don't, they can say it. And by the end of the presentation, they will give a rating from in grade form. So we got, basically we got F. We got, I guess we'll do UK. No, UK's E, right? So for us, it's F, D, C, B, A. And then we'll go from there and see what happens. We'll have a conversation afterward.
Or we could do the Japan rank of going from D to S.
Yeah. There's S rank as well. So we'll have F to S rank, and if it's S is like better than an A. So there you go. System. Yes. So now, I doubt we'll get an S. I feel
if you're a Street Fighter or Devil May Cry fan, S stands for style.
Yes.
If you're a Devil May Cry fan, what do 3 S's stand for? Smoking sick or sexy sick style?
Yes, indeed. So, let's start it off. I'm going to start sharing the screen now, and we are going to be presenting. Let's do it.
I like you already.
Yeah, you already. If you already like it already, you ain't seen nothing yet. So the Indy Force presents.
That dude in the orange still is.
Yeah, I know.
I'll fucking edit him in post, okay? I'll edit him in post.
How AEW should do their video games. So, obviously, we can talk about the box art real quick. I actually custom designed this.
And it looks fucking sick as hell in my view.
Yeah,
it looks great.
We decided to not do the 2K method or just a sports title method in general where you just have one guy on the cover. The entire, as much of the roster as you could possibly get on the cover as possible is on the cover. So, the first AEW poster that launched essentially, which Chris Jericho is predominant, but he's not the only guy. You got Cody and Moxley and Awesome Kong, Brandy, Kenny Omega's in there, Britt Baker, Luchasaurus. everybody that you could think of that was like the
When
mainstay.
when you're walking, the whole idea with the cover, and James, if you don't mind, when you're walking by, you're at your local game store. If you're searching on the web, you're walking by. It's the title that's going to catch your eye because of how much color is on there. Instead of insert athlete or insert wrestler, and you go, I just want to buy the new title, guys. I don't care who's on the cover.
Right, exactly. And everybody should want to be on the cover
I don't care.
anyway.
I don't care who's on this cover. It's not a cover if you don't have Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Exactly. And MJF is on there. Of course he is. The Young Bucks are on there.
Specifically, he's in the lower left-hand corner if you look.
And it's the Dynamite poster. And as you can see, the people in the game are, of course, Aki, which Mike P was actually talking about how his favorite game is No Mercy. We will get to that part. Of course, Yukes would be joining in, and of course, and here's the big one, NetherRealm Studios. We'll get to how they play a factor in our presentation on why we think they should be a part of the game development or the graphics development of this game. But this is the box cover art. You got the Nintendo Switch cover, the PS5 cover, and the Xbox Series X cover. Those are the consoles that I think are going to be the mainstays when you actually release the game.
Personally, I feel like the Switch would be a port and come way later, just to give them time to figure out how the game would work on the Switch. Because,
I agree.
To be honest, the one issue with the Switch, besides it being one of the greatest portable consoles that you can get nowadays, is
it's not very powerful.
It's just not powerful enough. Even though it runs Breath of the Wild like a friggin' dream, it's just...
Oh, it's amazing.
Right.
And now, really quick, let me tell you guys, I played Breath of the Wild on the Wii U. I had very little problems running it on the Wii U. The Switch, from what I'm told, is even better.
Fair enough. Now, we're gonna move to the next slide here. So this is obviously the game cover, and now we talk about who will be making the game. We kind of elaborated it a little bit on who the developers, if you will be. But now we're going to actually go over what they will be responsible for. So, Aki and Yukes are primarily the first two people that you want working on any wrestling title. You want to get these two specifically.
These two specifically will be responsible for the engine.
Yeah, 100%. So, Aki is an obvious choice if you're trying to create a wrestling game title. They're responsible for making Virtual Pro Wrestling, WCW vs. the World, WCW NWO World Tour, Virtual Pro Wrestling for the N64, WCW NWO Revenge, WWF WrestleMania 2000, Virtual 2 Pro Wrestling Dojo, WWF No Mercy, Def Jam Vendetta, Ultimate Muscle Legends vs. New Generation, and Def Jam Fight for New York. These games are classic wrestling games and have a longevity of being played 22 to 34 years later.
Specifically, No Mercy and Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, as well as like a close third, WCW NWO Revenge, still have massive fan bases to this very day.
Well, you also got to put in perspective the case of the Def Jam Fight for New York still has tournament scenes.
100%.
Now, so.
Yeah.
And these games also inspired titles like SmackDown Here Comes the Pay, Day of Reckoning series / WrestleMania X8 and 19 series, and Raw 2. So these and those games in its own right are classics in their own right. So the fact that Aki was responsible for inspiring a way of doing wrestling gaming, you gotta have them a part of your team. There's no other way you can really do it, I think. Yukes Company Unlimited are responsible for WWF SmackDown, the video game, and has worked on the WWF/E license all the way from 2000 to 2018, or specifically WWE 2K19. Much like Aki, they have loads of wrestling titles that have longevity being played. The aforementioned SmackDown Here Comes the Pain and the Day of Reckoning / WrestleMania Day of Reckoning series / WrestleMania 19 comes to mind immediately. On top of that, SmackDown vs. Raw / WWE insert year here series.
Dude, SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 and 2008 are still two of my favorite wrestling sims to this day.
Yeah, 100%.
So good.
I enjoy those games quite thoroughly. My favorite one, personally, just because I was a GameCube kid, was WrestleMania 19 and the Day of Reckoning series. Less so 18 and less so Day of Reckoning 2. I like the first Day of Reckoning and I love WrestleMania 19. That's like my favorite out of all of them. Out of the GameCube series, anyway. What might not be well known is that Yukes also worked on the Wrestle Kingdom series in Japan, and they also worked on the UFC Undisputed series with THQ from 2009 up to 2012 before EA Sports would take ownership of UFC games. So these are the reasons why we want them involved, because they are responsible for some of the most classic gaming titles ever. In fact, we'll go to the next slide here, and this is everything that both Yukes and Aki were responsible for, respectively, developing per se. While THQ and 2K and other companies published them, it was really the backbone was the developers, Yukes and Aki. So some of the hits include but aren't limited to WWE 2K14, because that's obvious. We run a show on that. SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, Virtual Pro Wrestling, and Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 Dojo, WrestleMania 19 Day of Reckoning 2, Def Jam Fight for New York, WWF No Mercy, WCW NWO Revenge, WrestleMania 2000, and WCW vs. NWO World Tour.
Now, you said, if I remember correctly, you said Yukes and Aki actually worked together on WrestleMania 19 and Day of Reckoning?
No. What I said was, because they were inspired by the Aki engine. And that's how they produced WrestleMania 19.
Okay, all right.
Why you want these two to work together?
Okay.
Because while Yukes lacked some of the stuff that Aki did, they actually exemplified the move animations a lot better. And Mike could probably go into more detail on me than I could on that. But I would think, Mike, if you would actually, could you go into detail on why Yukes and Aki we decided to choose to develop the game gameplay wise?
So it's relatively. I guess you could say interesting, more the factor of you have a Western developer in Yukes and you have a Eastern developer in Aki coming together to try to make a game together. With them together, you're going to have fresh gameplay, something that isn't going to be like anything else on the market nowadays. This thing is going to be butter smooth, because if it's Aki working on it primarily for movement, for generalized movement, and Yukes coming in for flair, you're adding more characteristic to each individual athlete that is on screen.
Now, the biggest reason we go for Yukes is because while as Mike just said, while they aren't completely beholden to the Aki engine, they do focus on the fast-paced action and smooth gameplay, smooth, fluid gameplay that exemplifies most of the 2003 to 2011 wrestling game landscape.
Yes. Mike, you were saying?
Well, they used to. That's the whole big important bit to this.
Yeah, they used to before, it became yearly titles, which we will get to why.
Came in.
Yeah, which is, we will get to that. Trust me, Mike, we'll get to that. But before we continue on, do the judges or the guests have any questions so far?
No.
No,
not really.
No, not really. All right, how about you, Mike P? Any questions on your end?
No, nothing so far. I'm just following with the presentation, and
Fair enough. I'm gonna ask every 4 or 5 slides just to make sure. If there's any questions that you guys have, we could probably answer. That's why I wanted to double check. So any questions that you have,
John, again. Well, I was gonna say don't be afraid to shout it out, but that
100%. Yeah. If you want, just say I have a question, and I'm like, you know what, go for it, and then we'll answer it when you.
Yeah, we run things pretty loosely around here, so.
Yeah, 100%.
All right.
So. Next, now we go on to NetherRealm and WB Games and what their role is for helping with the process of this game. So, NetherRealm is next. Most gaming fanatics know about this legendary company, and they're well known for the Mortal Kombat intellectual property since their days as Midway, as well as the Injustice series. Both franchises have polished when it comes to delivering an incredible experience to their customers. So by now, you're probably asking yourself, what the fuck? Why NetherRealm? Well, to answer that question, they have worked on the mobile game known as WWE Immortals.
Which, as much flack as we will give WWE, that, at least in my opinion, is not a bad game by any stretch.
No, it's not. And while the game gets a lot of flack for the fact that it's a mobile game, and I'll read as we go on, because to add to Casey's point, actually, the graphics are unbelievably accurate if you look at the facial features for all the characters in the game. They got every aspect of the character's face correct, and we stress this point in a mobile game. In a mobile game.
Let that sink in for a minute.
Yeah, like, this is a mobile game. And that's how good that the facial like, it was better than 2K. Like, leaps and bounds better than 2K games. If you actually look at the graphics on the WWE Immortals app, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how accurate.
Here's why. This is the biggest difference between NetherRealm and 2K. NetherRealm does this thing called giving a fuck.
Yes. Yes. Well,
am I wrong? Am I wrong, Mike?
No,
Yeah,
you're
I'm
absolutely correct.
It also gives the idea of beating your opponents to a bloody pulp.
Yes.
It's one the fact that with Immortals, and I'll go over it really quick so that we can move on to the next bit here. Immortals added something I would call all-star level wrestling when it comes to doing crazy, over-the-top hype moves that you would want to see. Example, Cena does the attitude adjustment, but he fucking flies into the sky. And then he does the attitude adjustment, bringing the opponent back to the ground. Or if you're The Rock, you grab your opponent for the rock bottom, he jumps all the way to the top of a city skyline and comes down with so much force that it looks like it was hit by a fucking...
When I saw clips of the game, honestly, when I saw clips of the game, to Mike's point, it felt like I was playing Injustice, WWE Edition.
Now you mention it.
Yeah.
Now you mention it. I wonder if NetherRealm actually took inspiration from All Stars for the design of the characters for Immortals.
I can answer that question for you. Yes. Absolutely, yes. John Cena is Superman.
I would say one of those things, if they looked at how, like, All Stars is not a high-selling wrestling game to begin with.
But it's stupidly fun once you get your hands on it.
It's one of the funnest wrestling games for the fact that it's fucking crazy. You're not expecting half.
It's a WWE wrestling simulator on crack.
Right. And Immortals is very similar to that.
Top in a business that's well known for being over the top.
Yeah, right. Like the wrestling games should always be, and that's the point we want to stress. While you want some semblance of realism when it comes to a title like this, you also want to go a little over the top. It shouldn't be boring. It just shouldn't be boring. Like, don't make it a simulation.
I shouldn't have to sit there and be able to go, how come I'm having a Randy Orton match every single time I have a wrestling match?
That's what it feels like every time. That's what it feels like anytime I play 2K.
I don't want to sit there and do 20-minute fucking headlocks for no goddamn reason.
Or I have to reverse every move. Go ahead, John.
Well, I wasn't saying anything.
Somebody said something. I can't see, by the way. I want to point that out. I legitimately can't see anybody. Who was trying to talk? Somebody was trying to say something.
Nobody cares. Just go forward.
Okay. I
James,
thought
hearing voices again.
How ironic we were talking about Randy Orton. But it's fine.
All right. So Midway also, should I say NetherRealm, also did outstanding work graphically back when they were a part of Midway with TNA Impact, the video game, in 2008. Again, they were rushed, so the gameplay is, at best, so-so. But graphically looks superior to later WWE titles.
Yeah,
don't worry, folks. We actually do have a really good example of where that is.
Yeah, we actually have a visual example of that. But that's how ridiculous they got the graphics of the game correct. While not a part of the same studio, they also did WWF WrestleMania the arcade game, which is fondly remembered for its gameplay. So, the reason why you want NetherRealm is that not only can they help with the graphics department, but if AKI and Yukes need a slightly more polishing,
this is where they come in.
To NetherRealm Studios or even WB. they both know how to smooth out the edges after the main chunk of the work of developing is done, and then NetherRealm can come in and is like, all right, how about we do this? All right, how about we do this? How about we, 2 + 2 = there you go, he's dead. Stuff like that. That way, it's way more polished, and it's more of a team effort. I stress that point. A team effort. There's a reason I put all 4 companies in the cover as opposed to 1 2K Games. Take notes.
Hold on. You gotta put it like this for a second. And putting them on the cover of the box art, not on the fucking back of the box art, because they're not the publishers.
Yes, exactly. And in fairness, every game I feel like needs to adopt that. I feel like they all deserve credit and should be front and center. They help with this, and we help with this. Fuck's sake, NetherRealm and WB Games are on the cover for Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah, well, it's because they're
like hell. I have the game. I can confirm this. Hang on a sec.
You don't have to show it, Case. I doubt anybody's fairly going to be able to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you were saying, Nikos, go ahead.
No, it's.
If you want,
if you want, NetherRealm and WB Games, they're pretty much involved in like these fighting games. They're kind of like, well, I wouldn't want to say involved. They more like add the necessary stages to make them better.
Yeah, I agree. I firmly agree with that.
Let me put it like this: the reason why you're contacting 2 well-known wrestling companies and a fighting game company is because you want to be able to feel the impact of these moves. And let me be honest, I want to be able to hear the footsteps of my athletes when they're walking across the ring.
Yes.
Yeah, and we also want it to feel good when you hit things.
I want to be able to hear what's going on in a match. I want to be able to sit there and lose myself into the game, into what world I'm trying to create, if I'm creating a world. Or if I'm playing it for 4 hours trying to get through story mode.
100%.
I should lose myself in the game.
Yeah,
so what do you think the odds are that this happens?
The odds are ridiculously high. I'll be honest with you right now. I think the odds of this actually happening are ridiculously high. But if this does happen, great. I want to see it happen. That would be awesome.
Very much appreciate it if we get some compensation.
Yeah, some compensation would be great.
By compensation, I mean give me my fucking money.
But no,
we will also. Free copy of the game. I was gonna say we will also accept payment in the form of free copies of the game when it releases.
Yeah, please. I would
No. I want Kenny Omega to fucking paint my house.
No, but going on. You know what, Nikos? If you want, why don't you read the Warner Brothers section down below?
Sure. Warner Brothers Games will primarily be the publisher of the title. However, if they need to smooth out some issues with the game graphically, they can do so if asked by NetherRealm. WB Games and NetherRealm Studios would also be in charge of writing the storylines, and modes of the game. If you consider all the information between the 4 companies, this could really be the 4 horsemen of the wrestling video games.
And that's what we're doing. We're trying to make a dream team here. That's the ultimate goal here.
Projects.
Yes.
Well, and they're already working with some of these, aren't they? In some sense.
Yeah, they've got AKI on board. I don't know about Yukes.
Yukes is rumored to be on board, which this is why we're recommending it. If they're not, they should be, because if you have Yukes and Aki working at the same, in the same game, that's going to be huge.
This is how we can say it quickly. If you have Yukes and Aki working together on the engine alone, you're going to have an engine that is pitch fucking perfect.
And it's godlike if you get NetherRealm on board as well.
The superiority of all games.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say of all games, but of wrestling titles. Absolutely.
Of wrestling titles, absolutely. This could, if you do this correctly, finally, it may not beat No Mercy, but it would be damn fucking close. If you actually were able to pull that off.
The whole thing with No Mercy is the fact that it is if you're a little kid growing up in the 1990s, and this game hit you in 2000, you're sitting there going, what's this shit about? You start playing it and getting into it, it's one of the most immersive experiences for the N64 when it comes to a wrestling title, for the fact that there's so much shit to do.
It's a lot of fun.
Same
A lot of
match.
fun.
It's
Absolutely.
insanity. Like we could have, had we needed to, we probably could have run WYW out of No Mercy.
100%.
We had, I mean, honestly, Casey, to be 100% fair, we probably would have ran it out of Virtual Pro Wrestling too, more than anything else.
That's fair.
Just
Now
more
that's beside,
shit.
now that's beside the point. I actually do have a WYW section in the game to actually show the sound engineering, but we'll get to that when we come to it. Let's go on to the graphics, and this is what we wanted to talk about. Now, this is Midway / NetherRealm graphics. This is WWE Immortals from NetherRealm, back when, now they're NetherRealm.
Doesn't The Undertaker look fucking sick?
Look at
By the way, that's not the best design for him. The Necromancer outfit, even better.
It is truly.
He looks like some kind of concept design for MKX Ermac, which is fucking radical.
And look at Ultimate Warrior and John Cena, like the graphics on them, like never mind the over-the-top outfits, even though they're awesome. But look at the graphics of their face and how accurate they are. And then these three specifically, you can't really see Triple H, but
I don't know if anybody
Macho
else.
Man and Austin.
What's up with Booker T?
We'll get to him.
Don't
worry. We'll get to
on.
Booker T and why he looks so fucking fugly in 2K. I think that's WWE 13.
Sounds about right.
So, these people, Macho Man and Austin, those aren't like screenshot, like they're not studio taken pictures. That's the in-game character. I had to look it up. It's actually the in-game character.
Well, that's the
shown
in-game
with Immortals
art.
That's the in-game art.
They drew all these hand-picked pictures, and then they went from there.
It's nuts.
Absolutely insane.
And now you look at Midway. And now this is just a regular wrestling title. Now we move on to the regular wrestling title. Look how accurate young Samoa Joe and AJ Styles look, and tell me that does not look like them from 2007 to 2008.
Yep. Same with Kurt Angle.
Look at how accurate he like. The
details pretty good.
The wrinkles in his face.
Dude, Kurt Angle looks fucking incredible.
He looks like Kurt Angle. You look at him and like, yeah, that's Kurt Angle.
That is Kurt Angle.
Like, I look at him and I think, is he from a 2018 game?
No, he's from a 2008 title.
It's 2008. Look at Booker T here in September 9th, 2008. This is when TNA Impact released. Look at the facial features of Booker T in this game. And then 4 years later, WWE 13 went and somehow made him look like a crack addict. And his skin tone isn't even the same.
Look like just some crackhead they found on the street one day and said, "We're going to turn you into a professional wrestler."
No, it's funny. Just
all right. I look at Booker T and WWE 13. This is what I think. Good afternoon, ball of dope pushers. Grove Street OGs come to do damage.
Oh no!
What I see is just Play-Doh.
Obviously, yeah. There is like just rendering.
It's so Play-Doh. You're right, man.
We put his arms down, his hair grows. It's Play-Doh.
Oh my god, that's so true. And actually, I do want to point out the hair too. If you actually look closely, look at the details on Impact and the dread shading. That's his actual hair. His hair is so on point. And then look at WWE 2K. It's like they just went, let's just use the create a superstar engine and just make him. That's what it feels like.
Let's say that. He looks like a creative superstar.
Except they turned him into some fucking crackhead-looking jackrabbit that's just gone wrong. He looks like a microwaved burnt chicken nugget that has some lady's hair in it.
Oh.
That's a horrible image.
The mystery voice is disgusted.
The mystery voice is disgusted.
Not as disgusted as his face.
So, the main question, and this is going to be a main question that we knew people were probably going to ask. Because if you notice, it's not going to be a yearly title. It's actually going to take 4 years to develop. So the question
It
is...
should take 4 years of development, because if you're going to do it properly, you need 4 years of development to do it right.
Yeah. So why will this take 4 years of development for the AEW Dynamite game to be made? Reasons why we should take our time. So, okay. Now, I understand we actually... Now, off air, I do want to point out to that the mystery voice, Mr. Michael P.
Mr. Manager.
I'll stick with the gimmick.
Yeah, fair enough. The mystery voice. He actually enjoyed Madden 20, but lots of people didn't. So when I looked up the results on all these games, because I'm not much of a Madden player or a 2K20 NBA player or a FIFA player. When I looked up all the information, it's not just it's not reserved to WWE 2K and the disaster that 2K20 was. Madden 20 was voted the worst out of the entire franchise. FIFA 19, a year prior to that, in 2018, was so bad that like KSI backed out on the deal on a new, like I think 2-year contract with EA and said, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." And then you had NBA voted the absolute worst game on Steam.
NBA's on
large
fucking
library.
Steam? I'm sorry, what?
Yeah,
Yep.
it's voted the worst game on Steam.
Because nobody, Matt, will go to the store anymore and try to buy these games in public because they're a fucking joke.
Yeah.
True.
I hate to put it like that because I'm a Madden fan. I love the classic Madden games. I think that they're still super fun. I mean, if you're able to bring back Blitz, that'd be fantastic. No, never mind. But
that would be cool.
It's just the simple fact that let's go 5 steps ahead 20 years ago. And then over time, we're going to take every one of those steps away till at the end somebody comes in and goes, "What happened to your stairs, Ed?" They took
my mom took them away because I am grounded.
They took your stairs?
Stairs?
Yup. Interesting. Intriguing. If nobody gets that reference, Ed and Eddie. There you go. Done.
If
all
nobody
right.
gets that
Tell
reference,
them.
And then with WWE, and then with WWE, you have Double D looking around his basement, seeing Ed, and going, "Is that the support beam to the house?"
And we just
That's
completely ripped that
disturbing.
song right out.
Meanwhile, in WWE 2K20, the support pin to Ed's house gets transferred into the game and glitches the entire system.
Speaking of which, quick update on that, James. My buddy Corey is right now suing 2K.
Just
if
like
nobody
everybody
knows
else.
the story on that, I'll make it really quick. So the 2K20 came out, and it was abysmal. How bad was
Actually,
it?
you know what? Can we wait until we get to the slide with the 2K20 game on it?
That's actually fair. You know what? I'll put a pin in it.
Save it for that. Save it for
Put a
that.
pin in it.
Put a pin in it.
Okay. So John will be right
Now
back.
people are going to ask the question, the fuck, why? Well, you'll hear why.
Yeah, it was pretty abysmal. Next.
It's amazing.
Go on to the next slide. So, game development, as we talked about, it's going to be AKI and Yukes. This is more in-depth on why we're having them, what they're going to be doing. This engine will primarily be handled by AKI and Yukes over the course of 2 years. Over the course of those 2 years, AKI and Yukes will be working close to polish the game's general movement as well as the animations. For this, I'm going to let Casey read what that entails for the 2-year development. If you could read the sub-points.
So these animations include, but are not limited to, finishers, signatures, grapples, striking, top rope moves, apron moves, weapon use, crowd animations, environmental hazards, dragging, and other obvious in-match moments. Like perfect example, the OMG moments in WWE 2K14, stuff like that.
Those were fun. I love those.
Yeah, the OMGs are fucking fun, obviously, but you want more OMGs. Like you want them to feel natural instead of just
you want to be able to suplex a motherfucker off the stage through 3 tables.
Yes, that
just
kind
like
of
on Dynamite.
Yes, exactly.
Fresh ones. Not reused assets like the old ones had.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
Like add what you already have for OMG. Add on top of that. Make
I'm all
more.
for recycling, but come on.
Improve upon improvisation.
Yes, exactly. Continue, Casey, if you would.
So, among other things, what the Indie Force would like to see done is free-flowing combos. We have if needed in parentheses, but let's be fucking honest with ourselves.
Look,
They are
Casey,
desperately
would
needed.
you like Casey? Would you like me to do a good Surf Ryan the fighting game dork?
Absolutely. I'll take the
Okay,
next
so-
sub point.
So we're talking about relatively standard stuff. I'll go over some of the terminology that I hope will become one day just regular things. Every single move in the game will be able to transfer into others naturally instead of doing what 2K games do, which is do a suplex, guy stands up, looks around for 2 seconds, picks his ass, and then grabs the opponent. Where it
Yeah,
should
you want
you should
combos.
on your opponent the entirety of the match trying to trade off between things. And you should be getting tired over time for the fact that you've gone 30 goddamn minutes. And it's just a natural thing that's going to happen because you've been beat out the whole match.
100%.
My example of this is, we're going to call these, because this is the fighting game turn that out. That's why, in case I'm glad you decided to give this to me. Bread and butters.
Yes. Bread and butter
Combination.
combos, yes.
That need to be naturally laid out over time. So, example, let's say I throw high punch into low kick into grapple. That should be simple to do. And that should do, we'll say, medium amount of damage. Not too much, but not too high. But if I'm able to continue the combination and keep shit going, I should be able to do a fuck ton of damage over time. A great example is if you ever played All-Stars. If I'm jumping off the top rope, I should be able to hook the guy's arm if he's going for a crossbody, hook his arm and put him into an arm drag, but if the momentum is correct and he's able to reverse my reversal, also known as counters,
Yes.
you should be able to counter the reversal into another arm drag to use all that momentum on your opponent to get him on the ground.
100%. And to that point, Nikos, if you could continue where you left off, actually. Or, no, Casey, I should say. I think I said Nikos, but Casey is who I meant to say.
Similar, this whole thing is supposed to be, or at least the way we'd like to see it done, is similar to Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 Dojo's in-game system, especially when it comes to multiple finishers, different types of strikes, multiple grapples, and several submissions of which you can switch from one to another. Perfect example, when you're playing as Masawa in Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. Mike, what was the combo you were showing me? What was the button combo?
Okay, so pretty much you go for your collar elbow tie, your classic tie-up. Then you go for a regular punch attack, which is what's going to start off your command into combination, which can start from left elbow, or should I say right elbow to the head, left elbow to the head, spinning elbow to the side of the head, into spinning head kick, into grab, into DDT.
Yes.
And that's all natural based, and you go, oh, that was really fun. I want to keep trying to do that. And over time,
I want to keep fucking around with this and see what else I can do.
Yes.
Right.
So the highest one that I've been able to hit, Case, is 10. You could go for 10 hits. You have special meter. So it's elbow to the side of the head, second elbow to the side of the head, spinning elbow, kick to shin, spinning kick right to the side of the head, roaring elbow to the other side of the head, grapple into the Emerald Flosion to end the match.
So what you're saying is you turned a wrestling match into Killer Instinct.
Well, no, actually,
Combo!
That's pretty accurate, actually.
Headphone warning.
But that's the whole thing. I didn't do a damn thing. That's already in the game.
Right.
I didn't do a fucking thing. That's just in-game stuff that I can do.
Yeah.
Because you should be able to do that.
Now, on top of this, I'll read the rest of this off, Casey, rather, and you can go on to the next bullet points. On top of this, realistic striking / grapple battles between opponents approximating WWE All-Stars. If you've seen WWE All-Stars, you can reverse a grapple or a strike. But for this, I will give a better example, like if you're actually playing a match. I'll use an AEW guy and an NXT guy, because I think that's the perfect example that I can give. So say you're playing Kenny Omega, and you have you created Jordan Devlin from NXT. So Jordan Devlin's down on the ground. He's rising to his feet. Kenny Omega's about to go for the V-trigger. As he bounces off the ropes to go for the running knee strike, you have multiple options. You can hit the reverse trigger. So if you could see down where I am, I know it's very small, but say this is the R trigger, right? You hit R trigger, or you can hit R trigger B, R trigger A and B, R trigger X and Y, or R trigger X and A, or something like that. X, Y, whatever, and it will counter into another move. In this instance, since it's Jordan Devlin, if you hit, say, counter A, as Kenny Omega's charging in for the V trigger, he counters the V trigger into a running Spanish fly, and then you can, at that point, either go for a pin cover, or you can do a springboard move to try to capitalize on the momentum. That should be what AEW's gameplay should be. That being said,
pretty much it's taking the Batman Arkham City counter system and turning it into a single trigger pull.
Yes.
So you go for counter, and then of course you have different combinations of buttons to do more damage over time. Because why the fuck not?
100%.
It's all about having fun, boys and girls. It's all about having fun.
Absolutely.
Fun is key. Fun is key.
Fun is number one. Absolutely. We would also like to see a full combination and marriage of systems for the Creation Suite, including all elements from WWF No Mercy all the way to WWE 2K18 or something like them. Also, and James and I especially cannot stress this enough, bring back users playlist for music. You cunts.
Yes. I don't even need. Everybody knows how you would be so much. There would be so much creativity. You would be free to do as much as you possibly can. I get it. I get with the labels. I get that's why I don't want to do it. But at this point, it doesn't matter. Just find a way around it. We want our in-game music shit back.
It can't be that hard. Bring back users playlist. You have the money to do it. Bring it back, you daft cunts.
Yes. Hi, Jack. How you doing? Anyway, if you would, please finish off the subtopics.
And this one is a pretty important one as well. Referees, they also need a dynamic AI, for those who don't know, that's artificial intelligence, and act like a referee. Stand back when needed, come in when needed, take proper bumps, count to however much you set the count timer for countouts, and when two wrestlers are down, count to 5 near the corner or in the ropes, and stay down when accidentally in the way of a move. I cannot tell you how many problems we have had with 2K14 in this regard.
Yeah, and with WYW, we have had so many problems with the referee. It's ridiculous. Matt, Nikos, everybody in WYW. I think John has even played 2K. We've all had some sort of issue where the referee just comes out of nowhere. And if you're not doing a CAW league, I want to stress this point. It's hilarious, but if you're trying to do a legit wrestling show, it's so annoying.
I ran up to a ref and slammed him in the head with a chair. He should be down for the rest of the fucking match.
Yes, that's another thing. When he takes a bump, he should stay down, not just get back up like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah, he should actually take actual ref bumps.
Agreed.
Yes.
Like the Mike Chioda taking the elbow and being out for 20 minutes.
Yes, exactly.
Now again, we want to stress this. When just fucking around with the game, it's absolutely hilarious. But
when we're getting
times we've had to reset. The amount of times we've had to reset a match is fucking atrocious because of everything that's happened.
Side note, I would just love to see the blooper reel of you guys just like displaying the referee gets in the way, like, God damn it, I gotta restart.
You don't even know, John. You don't even know. You don't even know.
There's an entire hour-long video on Casey's channel where that was the primary gripe. Was the referee.
Now, that being said,
well, AI in general, but whatever.
Yes,
I'll find it. I'm gonna have to find it.
It's called 4 matches and a beatdown. It's on my channel somewhere.
Yeah, when I said for fuck's sake to Taka, poor Taka. I'm sorry, Taka, I love you. Okay, now moving on because we're short on time. Nikos, can you finish off the last 2 bullet points?
Sure. The corporations will be making a alpha build demo in 2 years and a beta build in 4 to line up with the convention known as E3 for general playtesting audience reaction. After the 2-year process is up, both corporations will be handling the finalized game over to NetherRealm Studios for graphics, quality of life improvements, and make the Omega build for the final release, pun intended.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, you're going to want this game to be the very best that you possibly can make it. Just go balls to the wall, put your heart into it, and make sure that this is the game for not only just a wrestling fan, but any gamer that has never played a wrestling game, probably since, I would say, No Mercy, as a perfect example. That being said, let's move on.
Polish it.
Yeah, polish is key. Polish is absolutely
Polish
key.
this goddamn turd till you can get diamonds.
Yes. Now, I'm gonna read through this obviously because I wanna actually stop on the hour mark so we can take our first commercial break. So, NetherRealm, AKI, Yukes, and WB Games would be all kind of coincide with being responsible for the game graphics and sound, but it's mainly NetherRealm and UMB or UMB. WB. I almost said WMB. Now, both NetherRealm Studios and, to a lesser extent, WB Games, AKI, and Yukes will be responsible on making the game look as realistic as possible for the next generation consoles. This includes, KC, if you would.
This includes, and again, but is not limited to, keyframe poses / motion, which will allow characters to feel different from one another, so that way all athletes are unique in the game, even down to the way these people walk.
Yes, absolutely. Continue.
Photo scans of all I cannot talk tonight. Photo scans of all athletes. And I've only had one beer. I'm such a fucking lightweight.
You have white girl problems.
Anyway, continue, Kiz.
Photo scans of all athletes, easy for me to say, will be placed over skeleton rigs of mocap actors. These actors should preferably be the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Colt Cabana, Cody Rhodes, and Brandon Cutler. For the women, you'll want Brandy Rhodes, Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, and Riho, but that could change. Aubrey Edwards and Earl and his son Brian Hebner should also be mocap for ref motions done by AKI and Yukes. The game will, in theory, and idealistically, be running at 60 frames a second to allow the animations to run, look, and feel as smooth as possible in the game during play.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the key as well, because 2K has been stuck on the 30 frames per second for the longest time. The longest time. Like to the point where we had for the longest time we had to screw with the system so that way it would actually work somewhat like 30 frames per second. I remember that was a bitch to get right. But that being said, if you could, Nikos, read the main section, and then I'll read the sub bullet points.
Sure. Going on from that, moving on to sound. The game must sound like a legitimate wrestling show. Sound of this title should be as authentic as possible. All companies, not just a singular one, but every single company will be involved in this process.
This includes, but not limited to, again, commentary, which will be recorded in 3 separate sessions for in-studio recording. There will also be a 4th session between sound editors to get commentary clips from all AEW AAA events, because AAA is actually going to be in this game the way we have it set up, and other companies for later DLC, and cherry-pick the best audio bits. We also want dynamic crowd ambiance that we can build up throughout the course of a match, or entrance even. In this case, you want to get video / audio of AEW, AAA, and others for later DLC crowd reactions without commentary in them to make the crowd sound authentic. Sound effects in the ring / throughout the arena is a must. Chops, slaps, strikes, canvas hits, barricade breaking, steel chair shots, footsteps, etc. As said previously for the crowd dynamics, get audio and sound bites for all these different effects for the moves that have been animated by AKI and Yukes. With that, you're also going to want music sound for entrances, and this is key. This is what has made our show so successful, is because of how well it is mixed. The audio, more so than the actual video itself, is key. AEW, AKI, and Yukes will all collaborate with each other to make entrance music sound perfect and vibrant. The best way to do this is to download a trusty program called Audacity. You're going to want an older version to do this correctly, specifically Audacity 2.0.2. This is how we've made Weymouth Youth Wrestling's music sound as clear as it can be. However, we are going to be doing this in a different way than we do it for our show.
Is that a cartoon version of Little V-Mills?
Yes, it is. Right behind Kenny Omega. That was done on purpose. But before we get to that little
you
tutorial,
daft bastard,
we have a question. This is the main question. And I'm actually going to pass it off to the judges here. Why is entrance music, sound engineering, and audio mixing incredibly important to get correct in a wrestling video game? This is where I leave it off to the judges. What do you guys think?
Well, I think it's important because it helps build up like the hype for the people coming into the ring, and like, you know, getting amped up for the match and like, you know, the match itself with all the sounds.
Yes.
Fair point, John.
Mystery. Yeah, you know what, John? We'll save mystery voice for last.
I think it helps like create the most authentic experience. Like you're buying the game, so that way you, to make it feel like you're actually, you know, watching an episode of Dynamite or
better,
yeah.
Playing an episode.
You're playing it. Like it feels like you're it helps immerse you in the experience of playing the actual game itself.
Very good point.
Very good point. Mystery voice, what do you got?
Well, let me say when I look at a match and you have the entrance and the finish and all that, I look at it as one big presentation, you know, and that's a big selling point. So like the entrance is so vital for them to really make it feel important, you know, like you want it to feel like this is a big fight, you know, and you want it to feel just like it does in Dynamite.
Yes, and then obviously the sound engineering as well.
Oh yeah, and they can nail like it'd be cool if they nailed some of the fog they use in there too really well.
Yeah, I agree. I actually agree with you.
Absolutely, 100% agree.
Well, and you know, like I want to be able to hear like JR and Shivani commentating into the match too, and like I want them to like emotionally invest me. You know, like the presentation should really, you know, like
be as realistic as possible.
Yeah, get me into this, and I think with the new advancements in the controllers, we're hopefully going to get that.
Yeah, 100%, 100%, and I agree with you there. To show the example of what all the judges pretty much explained on why it's so important, I'm actually going to show a clip from our show. It's a 10-minute condensed version of our main event at Immortal without commentary. Now, we took commentary out.
For this,
yes.
Why don't we all just mute our mics so that the viewer at home who is looking at this can enjoy it fully. So we're going to start the muting.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Can you give a brief summary of what exactly Immortal is here?
So Weymouth Youth Wrestling is our CAW Wrestling League. WYW Immortal is our WrestleMania, essentially. So this is the main event of that show. So that's the example. But there's a lot of audio mixing in here. So this has no commentary. This just has audio mixing and everything. So
really quick before you start, not to shill our stuff too much, but Mystery Voice, if you have not already checked out this show, I highly recommend you do so. I personally think it's an incredible product for what we have. But if you do decide to check it out, I highly recommend you watch it in parcels. Break it up into
because it's an 8-hour event. We made it as long as WrestleMania, but
longer
I'm telling you, it's worth the few days that you're gonna need to actually watch this. This 10-minute clip will prove that.
Send me a link after the show and I'll check it out. You know,
100%.
I'll take it in small sections, but I'll check it out.
So, with that being said,
and the link will be in the description.
Now, Matt and John, I know you've probably seen this 100 times because I promoted it to you, but in this particular case, I want you to listen. You can watch, but I want you to listen to the audio. That is the goal of this clip. So here we go.
This is actually Michael Weinstein. Just wanted to point that out. Notice the stiff sounds of the strikes here. Notice how the crowd boos when you poke a face in the eye. Listen to this real quick as you watch this.
Also, keep in mind, James has had about 10 years worth of doing this under his belt, so.
Yes.
I forgot how stiff those sounded.
This is key what I'm about to say here. I did different crowd chants for different sections of the ring. Here's the referee. If you notice, he says 1, 2, 3. Like you hear him. And then watch this. He gets up from that, and the crowd goes in kind. Holy shit. Man. By the way, this is 2 out of 3 falls, I want to point out. Oh, here are the strikes again. Listen to the strong strike sound. Obviously, you can tell who's heel and face by the crowd reaction. Watch what happens when he breaks out of this figure 4 leg lock eventually. And listen to the crowd specifically. Oh, I also left in slow beats. Oh, my bad. Oh man, yeah, this is towards the end of the match. It's painful. What's wrong with us?
We are such cunts.
Yeah. This is a finisher we created, by the way. For those wondering. Close kick out sound effect. And now here comes the final spot. Listen to the sound of this table break. Listen closely.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner by pinfall, WYW Heavyweight Champion of the World, the Executioner,
There it is, everybody. I think I left them.
So, that's it. Everybody can unmute now. How good did that feel listening to it and actually watching it without the commentary and noticing the different bits of how the match progressed, and you can hear the crowd just kind of build and build and build and just like, yeah, boo, like the whole time. Does that feel somewhat real now looking at it?
It feels organic, I would say. I think it feels more organic, and that's a good thing, you know. I mean,
felt like an actual wrestling match.
Yeah. John, what about you? Because I think this may be your first time seeing this. Am I wrong?
No, I've seen it before.
No, I'm talking about this specific match or any bit of this. I don't know.
I've seen it. Trust me. It's yeah, no, it's like the like it. You know, it sounded like a real pro wrestling match, and that's what we're trying to.
That's what we're trying to stress here. We want it to sound real. So that being said, we're gonna take a quick commercial break now. That was our kind of like halfway point. When we come back, we're gonna continue the presentation. The judges will then give their scores, and then we will have a conversation after the presentation. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
But then he ended up joining WCW and the Alliance. Because when people think WCW, they think of the guy that basically helped WWF win the war, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Eric Bischoff, Uncle Bischoff, doesn't like his nephew Eugene. And we got Coach in Ohio, sporting Michigan-colored you. Fucker. That pissed me off.
Don't even get me started on Tony Storm crying. Oh, she cried. And the glass shatters. He opens the door. And off we go. Brawl ensues. They go all the way towards the Dipping Dots section where Cody dumps his Jericho's head in the Dipping Dots.
That was my favorite part.
Next was Best Friends getting interviewed. And
somewhere Jim Cornette had a conniption fit. I got a ticket! I got a ticket!
Get out of here!
You don't mess
Get
with
out of here!
I have a ticket!
And literally, security and the police escort the Nightmare family off the premises.
MJF says, how you looking now, midlife, Chris?
Do to get by, cause I keep ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me just let me That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me.
A table from hell with the Psycho Asylum. And an Iron Man match of factorial proportions. Man.
In this fight, I will melt you down to slag.
Versus machine.
I calculate a 0.85% chance that you will win in your current condition.
Full Metal Mayhem. Calling Horizon.
When you throw me into the wolves, I will return leading the pack.
Vera the Garden.
And I'll do anything to be the warrior on top.
For the Athena title, best friends turned bitter rivals. Johnny Starr.
Don't get in the way of the star or you'll get burned.
James, the Archangel.
I'm the real star of this brand.
For the international title, the Outsider, Mark Young. The Executioner, Michael X. For the WYW World Heavyweight title. 2 out of 3 fall.
Inside.
In a hell in a cell. WYW Immortal. Now available on YouTube.
Welcome back to the Indy Force. We're back from commercial break, and now we are going right back into business. So, Matt, by the way, we can't see your face.
That's the point.
Oh, yeah, you don't want people to see your face. All right, fair enough. Now everybody.
I mean, it's a vast improvement. Oh, never mind, he's back. The improvement's
Hey, look,
done.
it's the moon from the astronauts going to the moon movie.
Or it gets shot in the eyeball because they sent someone into space.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here we go. Let's start from the current slide, and we'll just make our way to the next slide because we already finished this one. No, I don't want to. There we go. All right. So now, I talked about it before the break. We were going to go on a quick step on how to do entrance music. So if developers are watching for some reason, or if anybody's watching and they run a CAW league, pay attention, because I'm about to show you how to do proper arena theme entrances. In this case, since it's the AEW video game, we're gonna do 4 different track styles for arena effect sounds. One is the indoor stadium, the indoor regular, the indoor smaller, and the outdoor stadium / arena. So, first, the first step you need is 2 audio tracks overlaid together. At that point, you're going to want -8.5 on the amplify on one of the tracks. So just keep that in mind, obviously. Now, I want to point this out as well. We're going to be using Kenny Omega's theme as an example. So, hello, Little V Mills. How you doing? We love you. And now, have 2 audio tracks ready in Audacity 2.0.2. One is going to be edited with the program's G-Verb effect. The other one will not be adjusted at all except for the amplification. You can find both of these effects in the selection in effects section, I should say. Excuse me. Step 2, apply G-Verb effect to one of the tracks. For this, you're going to have 3 different codes because this is the AEW game, so we're going to do it a little bit different, like I said. These are for indoor regular size, indoor smaller size, and indoor stadium size arenas. You adjust the reverb time S for each one. I have the reverb time highlighted here. So for indoor regular size, that's the code for that. It's the regular. I'm gonna just go over the code that isn't reverb time. So you're gonna want to write 250, 0.848, 1.0, -11.27. -20.16, and -31.01. The reverb time for this particular one is 20.6014. That's for indoor regular size.
If somebody's actually taking notes on this, I'm gonna shit.
For reverb time, for indoor stadium size, you're gonna want to go all the way to the max option, so 30.0.
Now you said the other codes you listed, those won't change from indoor track to indoor track?
Nothing on the other codes that I just listed off, they're not changing. Now, the indoor smaller size, since AEW is known for their smaller shows in this case, is 10.0268. So that's the code you want to remember for that. Now, we move on to step 3, which is the outdoor stadium / arena effect. You're not going to need G-Verb for this at all. So apply echo effect to one of the tracks for outdoor arenas. For this, you will not need G-Verb. You will just need echo, amplify, and gain effects. Here are the codes for those. They are simple to do, and the outdoor arena product is done after these effects are added. So, you want -10 on one of the tracks for amplification. It's gonna be the one that has the echo applied to it. So, you're gonna want the echo to be 0.18, and then the decay factor to be 0.8. On the amplification, it's -10, and then the second track, which isn't edited at all, I believe. Actually, no, it's the one that is edited. Now that I remember, you're going to want to bring that down all the way to -7. So that way it has an echo, but it's not just overbearing. It's not like ridiculous. So now, the final step is apply gain levels to each of the G-Verb affected tracks. For this, the G-Verb affected tracks that we actually went over are +6 for the first track, and that's the one that has the G-Verb effect on it, and -6 for the one that doesn't have the G-Verb effect on it. So keep that in mind, and then the finished product is complete and you're done. So now, here's the indoor regular size sound test. Here's the indoor stadium sound test coming up next. And the third G-Verb effect, the indoor smaller size sound test. So here we go with that. And finally, hold on, something happened there. All right, now we're on the outdoor arena / stadium size test. So here we go. There we go. Play that. This is how that sounds. And that's it with that. So for anybody that wants to know, that's how you do arena effects. And in this particular case, that's how you do arena effects for the AEW Dynamite video game. So there you go. Now, we're going to move on to marketing. Mike, this is all you, my dude. Obviously, I'll have Nikos read it, and then you can explain it as he goes along. So, Nikos, if you would, read it,
It's because I'm illiterate. Yeah!
Yeah, literacy.
It's okay to be retarded as long as you're retarded in your own house. Stay at home, folks. COVID-19, you don't have to worry about that if you just stay home.
Slap it. My spleen.
More like,
Anyway.
how about some drinks, some bleach?
Anyway, Nikos, if you would, please read.
So, it begs the question, how do we market the AEW Dynamite video game? Well,
Like
it is
eggs?
great to have your core wrestling... What you say, James?
What? That was Matt.
They're like
Or
eggs,
something.
play this game.
God
Yeah,
damn it.
how would anyone market the AEW video game is basically just the question. The answer to that, while it is great to have your core wrestling game audience, it should not be the only audience you cater to. The audience that you should also appeal to are fighting game fans, sports fans, and general video game fanatics, mainly because you could be potential social media influencers in the future.
With that being said, obviously, Casey, any small bullet points, like with the sub bullet points, you're going to read those while I read the sub bullet points at this point.
All right.
So, you're going to want to show bits and pieces to your game about a year before its actual launch, because this is key. Casey, explain why.
We cannot stress this enough. You do not want to do the 2K method of trailers. They show barely, if any, gameplay at all, and they just highlight the wrestlers in a room.
Mike, this is where you go into depth as to why that's just a bad idea.
Let me put it like this. It's okay to do really cinematic trailers of the game that's like expected. Like a great example of NetherRealm Studios' Mortal Kombat. We all knew what we were going to get with MK11.
Mm-hmm.
To an extent, we knew what the gameplay was going to be because of fucking Mortal Kombat, and fatalities have been the staple for years. That's not changing. Right. But when it comes to showing generalized gameplay and plot points, stop doing it. In comes Becky Lynch, and she meets Hogan and Austin, and everybody else sits there and goes, guys, that's a great trailer and everything, but I buy a game to play the fucking game.
Not see video production that I could easily do.
You give me more of a reason that I can play as Hogan, Becky, and fucking Austin. I played as Stone Cold Steve Austin since 2000. Yeah. Even prior to that, I've already played this character. I know how he's gonna play. He's had the same moveset for 25 years.
How does the game look? How does the game look graphically? How does the game play? In other words, don't do
feature. How does this game work?
Like, I want to know how it works. I don't want to see a video production that I could easily do if I had the same budget WWE had. It makes no sense. Why not show the video game?
Dude, you can do better than this without WWE's budget.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
That's kind of sad. Actually, no. I wouldn't say there's some stuff that they do that's better than me. I'm not gonna be that guy, but like, it still begs the question that if I had their equipment, I could do what they did. It's not hard. I want to know what the gameplay is like, and that's what you should market to. You shouldn't do, oh, everybody's in a room together because they're promoting the game. Right. Anyway, I will continue with the sub bullet points, and again, Casey, you'll read the small bullet points when we get to the final ones, the last three here. Now, Mike, I'm going to have you explain this one. Become a sponsorship for fighting game players in order to get the fighting game community, or the FGC audience, out there.
Okay. As an avid member of the FGC community, and I've competed in about 20 to 30 tournaments in my lifetime, I can tell you firsthand, as an individual that has gone to tournaments, spent the money, bought a fucking arcade stick, which is in my closet over here. It's one of those things that you need to make sure that you're connected to a community that can, I guess you could say, be a building block for future events and endeavors. And no other community is better at that than the FGC.
Yeah,
you'll always get your trash end of stuff, such as your well, I'm not going to say his name for the simple fact that I don't need him bitching and moaning on his little fucking thing that somebody pissed him off. But it's more the fact that you need a community to rally behind you. And this is the perfect one. Kenny's a part of the FGC.
100%. This is why I'm saying.
It's so easy. He knows Justin. He fucking knows Sonic Fox. He fucking knows Daigo Orihara.
He knows Xavier. He knows everybody there in the FGC.
It's not that hard. Snake Eyes is one of the greatest fucking Zangief players for the fact that he just communicates with people. He's not an asshole. Unless he's playing Zangief, and he's a fucking asshole.
But anyway, that's beside the point. So, again, when you have Kenny Omega, you have another potential audience to market this game out to. That is key. That is absolute key when you're promoting this game. You want to go to the FGC. That being said, I'll continue. You're going to want to produce merchandising such as AEW Video Game hats, t-shirts, posters, etc. to have fans buy at the conventions, at their local gaming stores, and on their local AEW shop / AEW site.
It's kind of obvious. This is one of the big things I think 2K games don't get is like, yeah, the company does do their own merch, but you're like missing out a whole, like, you could create a custom costume that the wrestlers never worn before and have it in your game and make a t-shirt off of that. Or use some of the art aspect that you've created for it and put it on a t-shirt to give the customer, like, oh shit, do you see what this is? This is a character that was never featured in the game, and I have him on my shirt because I actually enjoy him.
Yeah, 100%.
It's simple shit. It's fucking simple shit.
I'd like the old school game guides.
Can I give one?
Yeah, old school game guys. I like what Mystery Guy just said. Absolutely.
Old school game guides. Absolutely. You want one of those.
Greatest example of marketing correct? Fatal Fury.
Yes.
They made a hat based off the game, based off Terry Bogard's hat. Why? Because why wouldn't you want to wear that in public?
Yep, absolutely. And you know what, Nikos? How about this? I'll actually have you read off this last point, this last sub-bullet point before Casey goes over A, B, and C. Go for it.
Although, hold charity events where fans can donate money for a cause and award the fans with the merch. For example, raising money for children's hospitals, natural disaster-affected areas, and autism awareness campaigns. This does wonders for the video game industry / wrestling industry. The effects felt from this are the following. Casey?
First off, it creates very good publicity for all companies / charities involved, as well as shows the human side that is needed in times like these. Looking at you, Vincent.
Yep. Continue.
B, it shows that the company cares for not just their audience, but everyone, even the little guy.
Yep.
Looking at you, Sinclair Networks.
Continue.
And C, with all the added promotion, this will put the game in a very positive spotlight when it comes to media.
Absolutely.
Looking at you, Autism Speaks.
We'll get to them.
Damn, we call out everyone out here.
Hey, listen. We will talk about the story at a different time because I'm autistic and I don't like them either, and it's just not the time or place. This is not the time or place for that. This is not the forum for that. But at some point, if people really want to know, we will explain. Hell, I'm probably in the premiere comment section down below, which, by the way, if you're watching this video live right now as it's premiering, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share on Facebook, Twitter, any other social media platform that you know. Share it with your friends and family. Make sure you subscribe and turn that post notification bell on. Make sure you favorite the show. Make sure you check out the rest of the playlist of regular Indie Force and Indie Force clips / extras. Including, we just put the reactions to past AEW events with the Wrestling Rundown. So go check out those playlists right now. With that being said, yeah, it's just not the time or place to do that, to talk about that. So maybe I'll talk about it in the comments or whatever. But right now, this is about the video game. Let's talk about the video game. Next slide for the marketing. So, Mike, I think this is something that you and I kind of knew a lot of, but you knew more of the gaming side, while I knew more about the wrestling side. You also knew about the comic convention side as well.
Well, it's because of the fact that I'm a fucking dork.
Which, by the way, is another audience you want to grab.
Yeah, and Nikos, if you would like, why don't you read this part for us?
Sure. Straying away from the PR and commercial marketing, we now turn our attention to promoting it to major audiences to aid the game's success. This will be done in the way of major conventions for video gamers, comic book enthusiasts, and wrestling fans.
These conventions include, but not limited to, PAX East, PAX West, PAX Prime, Comic-Con, MagFest, Eurogamer Expo.
Real quick, James.
Yeah.
PAX West is PAX Prime.
Didn't know that. Fair enough. It's one mistake. What can you do? PAX East, PAX Prime, Comic-Con, MagFest, Eurogamer Expo, E3, DreamHack, Gamescom, China Joy, Tokyo Game Show, Brazil Game Show, CEO Gaming, obviously, Heroes Convention, MegaCon, WrestleCon, and of course, Starrcast. So here's good examples of that. I believe that is PAX Prime. That is, I believe, Comic-Con, and that is AEW Starrcast, because I couldn't actually find like a shot with everybody on the floor for some reason. I don't know if that's how they do their conventions, or if they just have like I don't know how they do the conventions. I assume it would be the same.
It's usually, let's be honest, James. From what I know, bits and pieces, that Starrcast isn't like this big open event like you would expect. It's a lot of regular floor. It's ground floor mostly, with tables set up with merch and everything else, and signing booths. That's about it. That's pretty much it.
Now, I assume it's just like a Comic-Con and a PAX Prime where
okay, let me tell you.
No, what I mean by that is people on the floor, I would assume. Which I couldn't find a single picture of it.
Let me put it like this. Comic-Con, which has existed since, what would you say, Casey, the 60s?
About that, I think, yeah.
The 1960s is the biggest convention in the fucking world.
Right. Well, fair enough.
Not really, because of the fact
I know. I'm well aware it's not the biggest convention. I just expected that they would at least have a shot of people on the floor. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, that's beside the point. Just a question I had. AEW, why isn't that showing the floor with people walking around? Just saying. Anyway, continuing. Woo! Main question time. Why is marketing to multiple different audiences so important for the game to succeed? I'm going to go to John for this one first, and then I'll go to the mystery guy. So, John, why do you think? Because you are the math guy for the most part when it comes to the Wrestling Rundown. Why do you think marketing to multiple different audiences is so important?
Well, it's easy to make your game appealing to as many people as possible so you can sell more copies.
Exactly.
If you're only marketing to one specific audience, you'll just alienate a bunch of people. Like there's a famous quote from Michael Jordan saying, I think it was like Republicans buy shoes too. Like it's supposed to be marketed to everybody. Everyone you try to reach as many people as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Mystery guy, you're up next.
Oh well, let me say, there's a lot of different ways you can go to marketing, but I mean, I think this is important because you want the audience to really be into what you're marketing, quite frankly, you know.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And I think with this, AEW has a good chance to pick up a lot of like lapsed wrestling fans over the years, and maybe people who think, hey, this wrestling game is really cool, let me give the product a chance, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
As I grew up playing Madden and such, and I learned like all the NFL rosters because I played Madden, and I was very invested in it, you know. And I feel like AEW is the same. It could be the same way with that game, you know. Like they could really put that as an emphasis too, you know. Like
yeah, absolutely. Matt, what about you? What do you got to answer for that?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Why is marketing to multiple? But he might not be able to see. Why is marketing to multiple different audiences so important for the game to succeed?
Oh well, because if you're able to branch out into numerous other like groups of people with interest, you'd be able to find a bigger audience, more people to enjoy the product, and you'd just be able to find more people who would like, you know, spread the product around in their friend group or in their clubs.
Right.
And allow me to add this in there as a guy who doesn't really have any experience with marketing. You want your game to feel like it's not just for one group of people. You want your game to feel like it's for all people.
Mm-hmm.
And if I may add one more thing, if you even you can even make your game without even thinking about it, but that game could be a potential thing that people use for their own CAW roster.
100%. 100%. I agree with everything you said. Nikos, do you have anything to add, you think?
By marketing this game, and I actually did a presentation capstone of this back in high school, when you market something, you got to make sure that it has to be sent out. You have to get the word out to not just one specific people, but to all types of groups that are interested into learning the subject. So, say if you come across some people who are not that interested or new to like this type of fighting game, you could develop some sort of interest in it by adding some points to it that could draw in their interest. You don't want to just describe the game. You actually want to show it. You actually want to present it. You actually want to give it meaning to it. Otherwise, what's the deal?
Exactly.
So I think by getting the word out on a broader scope would definitely improve the marketing strategy for this game if it ever comes to the point of release.
Right.
I saw a quote in my high school yearbook the year I graduated that said, "Doing business without advertising is like winking at a girl in the dark. You know what you're doing, but nobody else does."
So true. Oh, that's so true. That's
Damn
a
it!
great
Why
quote.
didn't anybody tell me that? William's been getting pissed off at me when I keep trying to do innuendo.
Oh, that's perfect. That was perfect. That has to stay in.
Mike, since you got in, anything else you want to add here?
No, not really. I mean, to be honest, it's just a general statement. If you're marketing any type of product, no matter what it is in the world, allowing it to branch out to more people and have more interest in other things, that does not mean selling out what your title actually is and going, this is not just a regular game. This is AEW Farm Simulator. You can build props with Kenny Omega. That's not what the fuck the game is about. Just be honest with the fan base. Show them what the game is about.
It's not
Raid Shadow and show what's
It's not
going
Raid
on.
Shadow Legends at all. Good point, Matt. Nikos, were you finished?
Raid shit.
Oh yeah, I was.
Sponsor of the day, Raid Shadow Legends. I'm right now not playing the fucking game because it doesn't work.
It's not your average MMO.
Okay.
It's shit.
Nice. Now we're on game modes in full. So here we go. So now we're getting into the actual game and how the modes are going to work. So the first mode, this is the obvious one. It's exhibition. Obviously, it's play a match. So you have options of single, triple threat, fatal 4-way, fatal 5-way, 6-man, 8-man, and 10-man. So if you want 2 CPUs, I don't know how that's going to run, but you can have 2 CPUs on top of 8 players. Why not? Have fun with it. Tag team as well. You can have regular, triple threat tag, 4-way tag, lucha style, tornado tag, 6-man tag.
James.
James, I think you froze.
A 6-man tornado, 4 versus 4, 4 versus 4 lucha style, 5 versus 5 elimination, intergender and mixed gender, scramble/gauntlet, and all single match types are included in this as well. And then you also have handicap, which is 1-on-2, 1-on-3, 1-on-4, 1-on-5, 2-on-3, 2-on-4, or 2-on-5. Because why not? Go fucking nuts with the handicap matches. I mean, fuck, AEW did it last week, right? I mean, it was basically 5-on-2 with, for whatever reason, Young Bucks and Cody, I guess, were in the showers. But my point being, why not? Have it be 2-on-5. Have fun, And then, obviously, I'm going to have Casey talk about the match types. And then we'll have Matt ask his question, because I think he was going to ask a question. Or should we have Matt? Did you actually have a question? Hello? Hello? Oh, man. Oh, no. No. What the fuck? What is going on? No, don't do this to me now. Why? Oh no, please don't. No. Oh my god, please go. No.
Hibiki TMD on YouTube, retro gaming, pro wrestling, podcast, Terry Bollea, Hibiki Honors, Hibiki Quickie, everything in between. Hit that subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at the Hibiki TMD. And hey! Watch out for pedestrians, pal! You on the bike! Slow down! Hit that subscribe down below. Check us out at the HibickiTMD on Twitter, HibickiTMD on YouTube. Oh, the goddamn goodness.
What's up, bitches? Are you tired of being bored during quarantine? Well, to pass the time, check out hundreds of free classic games on PlayEmulator.com. This site offers so many classic titles from the Nintendo Entertainment System, all the way to the Game Boy Color. They also have a huge PSX library, along with an even bigger Sega library. The collection is massive and has hundreds of games, including, but not limited to, Sonic the Hedgehog, Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country, the original Streets of Rage, Pac-Man and Mrs. Pac-Man, WWF No Mercy, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, Virtual Pro Wrestling, Super Mario 64, F-Zero and F-Zero X, the original Tetris, Contra, WCW NWO Revenge, Doom 64, all Street Fighter 2 titles, Pokemon X and Y, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, the Ultimate Mortal Kombat Trilogy, and much, much more. They also have a small section for MSX including the original Metal Gear. There are also fan-made emulators you can play, including Shadow in Sonic, Mario vs. Sonic.exe, Simpsons Streets of Rage, and a Street Fighter 2 version of Street Fighter 5. Go on PlayEmulator.com and enjoy the fun, fellow gamers, because this shit's super fun, yo. Indy Force approved.
Please don't. Oh, God. Oh, my God.
You guys.
Oh my fucking God! I hate Skype. I hate internet. I hate Xfinity. I hate it all. No, I'm so angry.
What even happened? Did your internet die?
It did, yeah. And oh, thank God the recording saved. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Oh my God!
Now, really quick.
I would have been pissed. You have no idea. Oh my God! I would have been fuming.
Now, really quick. I am going to double check and see where the recording stopped. Am I the only one that can't see the PowerPoint?
You're the only one. I'm gonna lose my mind on this fucking program. Can you see it now, Case?
Nothing.
Can you go out of this goddamn call and then come back in?
Sorry, I instant transmission back here. What happened?
Again, this app sucks.
There we go.
Were you about to say the game sucks?
All right, can everybody else see the damn PowerPoint?
I can see it fine, and I can hear you absolutely clearly.
Can everybody else see it fine?
I can see it fine.
Okay. John, you can see it?
Yep.
Okay, thank God. All right. As I was saying, I'm just going to go from
You didn't ask me.
types.
I see it.
Okay. All right, yeah, thank God. All right, so everybody can see it. Casey, read the match types.
All right, so we got match types for single/multi-man. We've got regular, submission, ladder, TLC, regular table, table from hell, Ultimate X match, steel cage, triple decker cage, Iron Man, first blood, knockout, last man standing, I quit, falls count anywhere, unsanctioned, aka lights out match, backstage brawl, ambulance match, battle royal, and gauntlet battle royal, both of which will come in increments of 10, 20, 30, and or 40, blood and guts, and a title match.
Pretty simple stuff. And again, that's included but not limited to. Modes could be added. You never know. So with that being said, next. So more modes include tournament mode. You can have it as normal or title mode. So you have 1-on-1, which is a maximum of 32 and a minimum of 4. 2-on-2, which has a maximum of 32 teams and a minimum of 4 teams. Triple threat. This is different, so I'm going to explain this. You're going to start with 54 competitors. It's only a quarterfinals and then the semifinals, and then it goes into a 1-on-1. And they're all triple threat matches right up until the finals. Or you can set a person with the championship in the spot, and then the champion goes up to the 2 semifinalists in a triple threat match, or the 2 finalists in a triple threat match for the title. So that's how that triple threat option works. Then you also have Faction, which is a max of 16 teams and a minimum of 4 teams. And then, of course, G1 Climax. We'll get to that as DLC. Now, Mike, I'm going to have you explain arcade mode, because it's arcade mode, and you know arcade mode very, very well.
So, okay, a general system that James and I were coming up with, which is, how do we extend the lifetime of the game?
Right.
With arcade mode, which is going to act like your way of gaining money.
Just let me check as you're talking.
Right now, it's a lot easier to have in-game items that you unlock over time, ergo No Mercy system, instead of... I'm gonna grab that off the shelf and I'm gonna put that in my pocket.
Right.
And I'm gonna play that when I get home. It's just easier. It will add way more content to the game. You'll get different endings for every single character. And it's just replay value. You'll go up against... You'll have 10 different match types that you're going to go all the way up to until you become World Heavyweight Champion. It's your classic wrestling formula that always works. You start as your main character and climb up the ranks till you become champion in arcade mode.
Exactly.
Or if you're WCW versus NWO World Tour, your character doesn't win champion, they win a trophy.
Yes.
Which is so weird. But
like the G1 Climax, by the way. That being said, Casey, if you could read calendar mode, please.
So this is like Universe and SmackDown vs. Raw GM mode, except you get to do things like make a pay-per-view, make a show, etc. And you also get create a story and rivalry mode.
Yep.
Or is that create a rivalry mode?
Create a story and rivalry mode. Yeah, it's both basically in one. So basically, all the creative aspects of what they did, and instead of making them in separate sections over the years, you just combine them all into one mega create your own CAW show, essentially, because you're gonna want to appeal to that market as well. The creative people like us. Hello.
It's a very niche market, but you would be shocked how much these people can do for your game.
You want longevity? That's how you create longevity. That being said, Nikos, online mode, please.
So online mode, there are 3 modes that are attached. There's the match mode, the creation suite, and the community creation, upload/download characters, Tron/Minitrons, special moves, titles, logos, stories, arenas, etc.
Because you have to have that in there, obviously. Because that's what happens in WWE games. You're going to want that. And most sports titles kind of have that too, if it's like boxing or MMA and stuff like that. That being said, I'll read creation mode. Creation mode, which has create a wrestler, create or upload a Tron/Minitron, story scenes, custom briefcases, custom titles, custom logos, custom arenas/venues. We'll get to that. Custom tag teams, custom entrances, custom finishers/signatures, and custom attire/looks for characters already on the roster. And finally, Mike, because this is actually a pretty small thing, read wrestler profiles, please.
I would love to, but I can't see it on my screen.
You can't see the PowerPoint?
No, I can't see the bottom.
Oh, okay, fair enough. All right, I got you. All right, I'll just read wrestler profiles then. Wrestler profiles.
But I can't.
That's fine. Wrestler profiles, hosted by Alex Marvez, along with Taz and Tony Schiavone, go over each superstar's backstory, SIGs/finisher moves, and career highlights. Pretty standard stuff, especially if you're doing arcade mode, because you can unlock those kind of things. And finally, we're going on to the arenas first. So, this is going to be very interesting, and I'm curious to what everybody here actually thinks of this. We got our arena list, which has Dynamite, Dark, Double or Nothing, Fyter Fest, Fight for the Fallen, All Out, Full Gear, Revolution, Bash at the Beach, Blood and Guts, AAA, Lucha Libre Worldwide, and Triple Mania as well. Dragon Gate, All In, NWA Power for DLC, Pride for DLC, New Japan Pro Wrestling for DLC, Destruction for DLC, Wrestle Kingdom for DLC, Ultimate G1 Supercard Final DLC, Power Struggle DLC, Impact Wrestling DLC, Lockdown DLC, Bound for Glory DLC, Ring of Honor DLC, Death Before Dishonor DLC, Final Battle DLC, Best in the World DLC, and War of the Worlds Final DLC. That's like a custom stage that we kind of came up with as we were doing this. Now, we'll get to why those DLCs are there in a minute.
James, War of the Worlds is not a custom stage. That's a fucking...
That's a legit thing? Fair enough. Okay.
Legit
then, I didn't know.
The movie about apes.
That's
movie about apes.
Ring of Honor.
Very true.
Ring of Honor pay-per-view.
Oh, there you go. Next.
Also, before you get to that, there's a thing that you missed on the last slide. You can have these arenas full or empty.
Yes.
Don't worry.
Oh, yeah, I did miss that, yeah.
We can relive the coronavirus. Great.
Yes.
Yeah.
More along the
Why
lines.
not?
More along the lines of you can recreate. More along the lines of you can get the vibe of, say, Rockin' Mankind or Dusty Rhodes / Terry Funk via Jerry the King versus Jerry the King Lawler.
Right.
As
Back
much
in
as
the
I would
Mid-South
love
days.
that, I think it's dead for me now. After that.
Right.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
You
That's
have
fair,
the
but still.
Okay, but listen, you have the option if you want to have an empty arena match, is my point. Like John Moxley, J.K. That being said, select arena style and choose your venue. You have Default 1, Default 2, Default 3, and then you have the Chris Jericho Cruise, Madison Square Garden, Agganis Arena, TD Garden, Capital One Arena, MGM Grand, Blue Cross Arena, Daly's Place, UMW Panther Arena, Farida Center, Santa Ana Star Center, Lakefront Arena, Ocean One Arena, Wintrust Arena, Sears Center Arena, Indy Farmers Coliseum, Curtis Colwell Center, State Farm Arena, Staples Center, Chafiette's Arena, I believe that's how it's pronounced, Toronto Skydome, Air Canada Center, Mexico City Arena, Bristol Motor Speedway. The reason why is because Kentucky's a huge crowd, and that was the biggest arena I could possibly think of. Why not an Ascot track bucket? Hardy Compound, Young Bucks Backyard, Atlanta Small Arena, TIAA Bank Field, Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium, in other words, Tokyo Dome for DLC, Royal Albert Hall for DLC, Impact Zone for DLC, Nissan Stadium DLC, Yokohama Arena DLC, Ajinomoto. I feel like I'm fucking that up, but whatever.
Ajinomoto Stadium.
Ajinomoto Stadium, thank you. Manchester Arena for DLC, MGS Bank Arena DLC, the O2 Arena DLC, the SSE Arena DLC, Wembley Stadium DLC, Aviva Stadium DLC, the 2300 Arena DLC, Grand Olympic Auditorium DLC, Cow Palace for DLC, Nightmare Factory for Final DLC, and PWG for Final DLC.
Because who wouldn't want to have AEW Double or Nothing or Fyter Fest or whatever in the fucking Tokyo Dome?
Yes, exactly. That'd be cool. Or, if you really want to get creative, instead of just having your typical venue with the arena, you could have friggin' AAA in Tokyo Dome. Why not? Screw it. Go nuts. Have fun.
Go fucking ham, people.
And now, we got some math. So, with the total amount of stages combinations and the total amount of stage combinations, are as follows, with custom stages and full and empty arena venue options included. 279 arenas times 48 venue selections equals 13,392. You multiply that by 2, and you get a whopping 26,784 arena combinations. Fuck.
What the fuck?
We're madmen, people. We never
You
said
guys
we
have
weren't.
to put a random button.
Oh, 100%. Could you imagine how fun that would be? And now we get on to why we are separating the arena style looks and venue size / locations when picking the event.
So we're going to switch up the order a little bit. We're actually going to have Matt go first on this one. Why do you think we're doing this?
I have to say you're doing it for, like, so the boredom of repeating locations doesn't happen often, where everyone ends up having, like, a unique experience with the arenas.
Matt, guess what? Winner,
interested
winner,
me-
chicken dinner, man. You hit the nail right on the head.
What interested me the most was how you have all of those DLC stages.
We'll get to
Where's
that.
your
Don't worry.
Immortal
Don't worry.
stage?
Well, that's the thing, because technically we're not a real thing, so we're leaving ourselves out because we're not that fucking cocky. Come on now.
I was kidding, but onto a serious question.
Yeah, go for it.
What made you want all of those to be DLC and not implement more to be like in-game?
You will see why when you see the DLC packs that we have implemented.
There's also one important thing of longevity.
Yes.
You'll see.
We want longevity. That's
making the game last longer. Okay, that makes sense.
John, we'll go to you next, and then we'll go to Mr. Guy after.
Okay. It's mainly like you're trying to get a good aesthetic.
Right.
Like you just don't want the same stock arena that you're looking at the entire time.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
And no, you guys pretty much hit the nail on the head with those two descriptions. Mystery Man, why do you think we did it?
Well, you want each arena to have its own organic feel, and you want like certain events like All Out or Double or Nothing. That should always feel bigger than Dynamite.
Yes.
Because of that atmosphere, and you want each arena to have its own energy because, in truth, they all do have their own energy and all their own unique intricacies. And
how many times do we have to stress that fighting in the Georgia Dome is not the same as fighting in the fucking Rosemont Horizon before you get the fucking picture, 2K?
Yes.
Right, and I mean they can go a long ways if they can really
100%.
capitalize on that. You know, I mean, like, and I also got to say I do have some comments on some of the franchise slides, or not franchise slides, but some of the game mode slides from earlier.
Yeah, go for it. What are your questions? Go for it.
Well, it wasn't so much as questions, but more comments. You were actually, I was going way back to some of the in-game stuff, but you're talking about like refs, and I was going to say I think it'd be important for like refs to have like their own personalities as they do in real life.
Yes, I agree with that. Actually, that's a very good point, Mr. Man. I actually fully agree with that.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's a key thing for every referee, just like the wrestlers, and just like the commentators, to all feel different. You don't want any sameness.
Exactly, and that goes for every aspect of everybody. You know, like make everybody, make JR feel like JR, Tony feel like Tony. Right. You know, like give these guys their personalities.
Make Arbery feel like Arbery. Make Earl feel like Earl. Make Brian Hebner feel like Brian Hebner.
Right.
So,
right.
Excuse me. Sorry, I had to sneeze. But let's go on to the big money. The menu screen here. This is what you're gonna first see when you start the game. So, Nikos, I'm gonna give this all to you, and then Casey, you will read the sub bullet points.
The best way to go about this is to use the WrestleMania 2019. The WrestleMania 19 style of menu selections. Excuse me, I don't know why I said 2019, but
no, I understand.
19. Yeah. This includes the screen graphics, option layouts, sound effects, and in-game menu music. Something like this would be wonderful.
Now, the reason we want something like the WrestleMania 19 menu is because when looking at it, it's aesthetically pleasing. You want a menu that looks both sleek and quote-unquote hype to get the player invigorated and wanting to play the game. I take a look at this screen myself. It's actually the first time I'm seeing anything from WrestleMania 19 in a very long time. And it looks like the Mortal Kombat character selection. That's fucking rad.
This is exactly why we picked it. This is something that would be totally on NetherRealm's department all day, every day. Continue, Casey.
Option layouts are up to the developers. However, the sound effects should have a good middle ground for the player to be able to hear them, but not be annoyed by the constant sound effects. WrestleMania 19 does this beautifully when it comes to the menu selection.
I will do the sound effect. This is literally the sound effect that they do. That's it. It's literally a click. It's not too over the top. You can hear it, but it's not annoying. It's perfect, and it works.
Not to mention, you can make a sick beat with it.
Yeah.
See?
Reminds me of my childhood.
See?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
There you go.
All right, Matt's all good. The in-game menu music should be able to transition naturally from one track to another when selecting through the menu. Examples of this would be No Mercy, or at least the best example of this would be No Mercy, where you go from main menu to exhibition to character selection, and the music feels natural when you transition to each option.
Mike, when you and I were doing this, and I stressed this point that the menu needed to be like crisp, why? Why do you think that needed to happen?
Because it's important. Oh my god, it's not too much to go over.
Yeah, 100%. Well, here's the other thing too, and this is the thing I don't think we put in here. We're sick of the jukebox system. Oh, get rid of it. Get rid of it. Kill it with fire, please. Oh my god, I can't tell you how sick I was getting of Breaking Benjamin's Firefly when loading up Day of Reckoning. Oh my god. Just stop. Or here's a better example for 2K14. Jack Swagger's theme on loop. On loop.
Hey, poop.
Anyway.
Yeah, I wanted to
That's
poop
why-
after a few days of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Killer.
And
It'll be
finally,
going-
before we get to the additional features, Mike, do you have anything to say on the whole it being killer? As you were about to say that.
Just imagine you have to listen to a song on the radio, right? And I know
Right.
John knows exactly what I'm talking about. You're hearing a song on the radio. And then every single time you're trying to do something, that song appears again.
And
And then
again.
it appears again.
And again.
Again.
And again. And again.
You hear it about the 13th time and you go, I don't know where it's coming from. I don't care who decided to do it. But if I ever find that individual that decided to put this in here, I'm going to come to their house and beat their ass.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to sit there and listen to the same dumb, overexposed garbage. If you're uncreative enough, if you're creative, I should probably say, if you're creative enough, it shouldn't be that fucking hard to come up with music that mixes well with your goddamn game.
It's
With
pretty
your
bad
menu
in Madden,
specific-
too.
Yeah,
It's
so
that
bad.
hard.
Wait, what?
It just shouldn't be that hard. That's all I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. It just shouldn't be that friggin' hard to just add some music, add some flair.
Just add in menu music, custom in-game menu music. Don't do the jukebox system. It's lazy and it's annoying after you hear certain
having
songs.
like
15
music.
times.
If I could,
Matt, what were you saying?
Actually, a really good example of great like menu music. Tekken 7 has a good system where you get to choose between like either default like relaxing menu music or like any other song within the game that you can use within
Which is understandable.
Whatever you like.
Right. No,
you can
I see
pick
what you're
whatever
saying.
song and use it.
Now, here's another example of this. If you really want to actually go hype with it, do something like Killer Instinct and their hype music. Because that's
Yeah, just hire Mick Gordon and you're set.
Yeah, you're done. That being said, let's go over the additional options and features. I'm just going to be quick with this because there's really not much to it. Users playlist, we already mentioned that. Upload a Tron as well as 200 custom character slots, 400 Titantron / Minitron slots, 250 custom arena slots, 300 finisher / signature slots, and 30 custom title slots. You can also turn blood on and off, turn referee on and off, the Aki style of ref, create a match type / edit match rules, buying extra costume / moves in the game. In-game currency will be used to get these items, and DLC will create new moves to unlock. No loot boxes. Just want to stress that point. EA Sports. Unlock stages / venues. Yes. And custom tag moves. And I'll read the tag moves off really quick. Tag moves variations include, but not limited to, top rope, ground moves, double submission, Irish whip rebound, standing/corner standards, apron, combination tag moves, and special tag finishers. All can be done in or out of the ring, except for, I think, corner. You can also, that's obvious. You can also add/edit different teams and factions, as well as create sub-tag teams within factions, like how the Elite formed within the Bullet Club, or how the Sex Gods were formed in the Inner Circle.
So that's Sammy Guevara and who?
Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho. Okay. Makes sense.
Tag teams are present in the game. However, for the time's sake, we will name the team they are a part of as we go through the whole roster. Now,
so this is probably going to be the longest part of this whole thing.
Not as long as you think, actually. Now it's
Bullshit.
time. Now it's time for the in-game AEW roster and how we believe it will look. Remember that this roster has stuff that could happen, people we would like to see in the game, and a matter of opinion. Keep that in mind as we go through this. AEW's men's roster first. Let's do this. So, obviously, you got Adam Page, AC Romero, Alan Angels. Yes, Alan Angels. Now, Adam Page obviously would be teaming with Kenny Omega. AC Romero, Alan Angels, Alexander Miro, or Rusev, for those that know him better as that, Alex Reynolds, Angelico, Austin Gunn, Brandon Cutler. Whoops. Whoa. That was weird. Sorry. I had a feeling one of the effects was going to screw up because of the keyboard. Here we go. Brett Myers or Zack Ryder, who obviously would be teaming up with Brian Myers, who's on this list, because Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. Brian Cage, Brody Lee, Cash Wheeler, who would obviously be teaming up with Dash Wilder. Brody Lee obviously leads the Dark Order. Chris Jericho, who leads the Inner Circle. Christopher Daniels, leader of SCU. And Chuck Taylor, part of Best Friends. Seema, who leads the Strong Hearts. Cody, who leads the Nightmare Family / a member of the Elite. Colt Cabana, Darby Allin, Dax Harwood. We already explained that.
Scott Dawson.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Doc Gallows, obviously, because, Doc Gallows. He's great.
Yeah.
He would be teamed up with Carl Anderson, who's also on this list. Dustin Rhodes would be teamed up with both Cody for the Brotherhood and, of course, QT Marshall of the... I don't know their tag team name. Does anybody know their tag team name? I forget.
The Natural Nightmares.
The Natural Nightmares.
Yeah. Thank you. The Natural Nightmares. L. Lindemann, also a part of Strong Hearts. All I could find was that his old gimmick. I don't know why. Ethan Carter III, that's his new look. I wanted to get his more updated look. He's not a part of anything. Evil Uno, a part of the Dark Order. Frankie Kazarian, a part of SCU. Isaiah Cassidy, tag teaming with Mark Quinn of Private Party. Jack Evans, tag teaming with Angelico of the Hybrid 2. Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, a part of the
Jurassic Express.
Jurassic Express. Thank you.
What a fucking name.
Jake Hager, a part of the Inner Circle, obviously. Jeff Cobb, also a part of the Inner Circle because he was the Hitman at one point. And by this point, he would probably show up. Jimmy Havoc. He's just Jimmy Havoc. Joe Henning, because I like Joe Henning and WWE fucked him over. Joey Janela. John Silver, a part of the Dark Order. John Moxley. Carl Anderson, he's teamed up with Dark Gallows. Kenny Omega teamed up with Hangman Page. Kip Sabian, also, he would be like a sub partner of the Hybrid 2, and it would be called the Hybrid 3 because they tag team for a little bit. Lance Archer, because of course, and he'd obviously have Jake Roberts in his corner. Leo Rush, Luchasaurus, a part of Jurassic Express. Luther, because he's there. MJF, because of course he'd be teamed up with what's it called? Sean Spears, because they've been in a lot of awesome skits together. Marco Stunt, a part of Jurassic Express. Mark Quinn, part of Private Party. Matt Hardy,
AKA Damascus.
Yeah, AKA Damascus, yes.
Truly a hole of the ass.
Matt and Nick Jackson of the Young Bucks. Michael Nakazawa, Matt Bennett, Orange Cassidy, also a part of Best Friends. Ortiz, Pac, and Pentagon Jr., a part of the Death Triangle, both Pac and Pentagon Jr. Ortiz also a part of the Inner Circle. Peter Avalon, part of a mixed tag team with Leva Bates as the Librarians. Preston Vance, I should say. He's a part of the Dark Order. QT Marshall, we already said he's teamed up with Dustin. Ray Phoenix, the final member of the Death Triangle. Rockstar Spud, because fuck WWE for fucking him over and firing him and still having him compete. I think that's bullshit. Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Scorpio Sky. So Santana and Sammy Guevara are part of the Inner Circle, and Scorpio Sky a part of SCU. Sean Spears with MJF. Sonny Kiss. Stephen Amell. This is key. That's an unlockable. Stu Grayson, a part of the Dark Order. T-Hawk, a part of Strong Hearts. The Blade and the Butcher, obviously. Trent, a part of Best Friends. Uha Nation, and Wardlow, who would also team up with Sean Spears and MJF as a faction. And now we go on to the women's division. So, Allie, who would be with the Butcher and the Blade. Anna Jay, Awesome Kong, B. Priestley. Big Swole, Brandy Rhodes, Dr. Britt Baker, DND. Emi Sakura, Hikaru Shida, Evilise, Jamie Hayter, who would also be teamed up with B. Priestley in this. Chris Statlander, Kylie Ray. Yes. Leva Bates. Maria Bennett. Because we're going to have Mike Bennett. You might as well have Maria there, too.
You gotta have them. You can't have the miracle without his miracle maker.
Exactly. ODB, Penelope Ford, Priscilla Kelly, Rebel, who actually made an appearance on Dynamite not too long ago. Riho, Sadie Gibbs, Sarah Rowe, and Shana. And then, of course, the final four, Shaza McKenzie, Teal Piper, Tennille Dashwood, and Yuka Zakazaki. All these women, by the way, at one point appeared on AEW programming. Just want to point that out there. And now you get the Legends Unlockables. That's key. You're not going to just press X and unlock all of them. They're as follows. Asia Khan, Alex Shelley, who's not signed by WWE somehow, and I don't get how. Even though they had him with Kushida. Arn Anderson, Billy Gunn, who would be teamed up with Austin Gunn when you unlock him. Arn Anderson would also be teamed up with, whoever in the Elite, I assume Cody. BJ Whitner, because he's a legend in the Indies. Bret Hart, Chavo Guerrero Jr., obviously. Chris Sabin, so out the Motor City Machine Guns and the Young Bucks.
You gotta have them.
Yeah.
Hey, sign me the fuck up. Must happen ASAP.
Yes, let's go. Dean Malenko, Diamond Dallas Page, Eric Young, Gail Kim, Jazz, Jake Roberts, Jerry Lynn, Jushin Thunder Liger,
who actually recently just retired. So
yes, exactly, it makes sense. Psychosis, Shibata, Taze with one Z. Tully Blanchard and Ultimo Dragon. That's your Legends Unlockables.
So one thing that we have to go over really quick before we go on to the next bit of this.
Sure.
All these Legends are going to be put back in their younger self.
prime.
Yes, they're prime. They're prime. With everything that they know now, I might add.
Which means that Taz is going to be the scariest fucking character to face in this entire game.
Give me JR too.
I was dude, you have no idea. I was so tempted to put Kurt Angle in this, but I realized you could probably just create him and then team him and Taz up, and it would be great.
That and Sting. Sting's gonna have to be in it, I think.
Oh, don't worry. He's in it. He's in it. Do not worry. Now, Lucha Libre Worldwide or AAA roster. Some locked. Here we go. The AAA roster consists of Aerostar, Argenis, Blue Demon Jr., Daga, Drago, Commander, L.A. Park, Laredo Kid. By the way, I had to look up. L.A. Park is not dead, right? It's the original Parker that died, correct?
Right. Yes.
Yeah, all right.
Yes.
I'm just double checking because that confuses
He's still in MLW.
Yeah, may La Parka, by the way, rest in peace. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Pagano, Psychosis 2. There's a second Psychosis, so you can tag Psychosis and Psychosis 2. That would be an immediate option. Puma King, Texano Jr., and Soul Rocker Tito Santana. That's all for the men. And, of course, the only women in the Unlockables, Taya Valkyrie, who is actually the women's champion over in AAA.
Why does Pagano look like an ICP reject?
Fair.
Just very fair.
True.
That being said, now it is time to go over the yearly releases of downloadable content. we will have 4 packs for 4 different years.
Why is that a question?
I forgot to get rid of the question. What? You know what? And actually, you know what? That could be a question. Is like, wait, 4 different years for 4 packs? Main question: why have DLC every year? Why not release a game title every year like other sports game franchise games? Better yet, if this is in a sense a fighting game, why not release a Super Dynamite or Explosive Dynamite like Capcom Street Fighter intellectual property?
Well, here's our answer.
So, this is where we talk, obviously, because this is a podcast at the end of the day. The reason why we want to go by this is because, yes, Street Fighter 4 is the perfect example of this. That's why it's front and center. You can either buy the game once all the roster members are there, and you can buy the Ultra version, or you can buy the packs as they come out, or you get the packs for free if, for say, in what we're doing, you can order the pre-order bonuses. Again, we mentioned how 2K and other sports franchise games just completely shit the bed when you do year after year after year titles. Eventually, it doesn't work.
If you're 2K20, Mike.
Yeah. Mike, tell the story. It's time.
So,
It's time.
My buddy Corey purchased 2K20 and is now having a lawsuit with 2K over, I won't go into details on any specifics, but what I will say is this. He purchased the game, not only for his console and many other different things, because we wanted to test the game when it came out. We decided to keep going back and getting credit from GameStop to test it on all the different platforms when it came out. Best performance, surprisingly, is on the PlayStation 4. Shocking to nobody. But he tried it on his PC.
Yep.
And what it did was it bricked his computer. His $2,547 gaming PC is now a brick.
It's dead. It shit itself when he put this game
literally, in. He put the game in. He ran the system check to make sure that everything was okay. He got about 10 minutes of like going through the menus and seeing if everything was okay, checking his frame rate. He got up, walked to the bathroom. He came back, put the controller in his hand, pressed the button, and his computer started going at such a high volume that his parents could hear it. And they're in the basement. He's on the second floor. They're in the basement.
Yep.
If anybody's going to defend this game, I don't know how at this point, because it's just...
You saw a man's computer literally shit itself.
I saw a kid I grew up with's computer completely give the fuck up. He completely took a gun and shot itself in the head. And
From there, since we can't go into the details of the lawsuit, I think you can draw your own conclusions there.
That's how I used to watch WWE.
Yep. So there you go. Now, the reason why Impact's on here too, while again we talked about the game graphics as well, when you rush something, it doesn't go well. And Impact was going to have a hard time selling anyway, but it did not help the fact that the gameplay was rushed and it had so much potential. And Tina's like, no, we got to compete with WWE. Release it now. Release it now.
No.
And
don't need to titles that are very popular. That's stupid.
Yeah. So there you go. That's the reason, and yeah, that's why we want to do the DLC for 4 years method. Which, speaking of which, here's the first year roster. Now you know why we did the arenas for DLC. Here's the DLC year 1 roster for New Japan Pro Wrestling, the king of sports. By this point, come on. We know they're working together on some fucking level. If you got guys like Chris Jericho and freaking John Moxley, and now you worked out a deal for Lance Archer to come over to AEW. Come on now. Come on. So, that being said, the people in this DLC pack, first is the pre-order bonuses. Now, I know what you're thinking. But I've talked about this before. David Benoit should not be punished for what his father did And I think that David deserves to have at least some spotlight since he's not the one that did the crimes and he wants to wrestle. This is how you do that to get him in the people's eye. So he's a pre-order bonus as well as Aki Man.
Because Aki Man hasn't been in the game since 2000, for fuck's sake.
Yes.
Aki Man!
Gotta have it. Especially
Love the Benoit edition.
Yes. Aki and Benoit pre-order bonus. There you go. Because
Great.
why not?
Love it.
There you go. Hey, wow, I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised people enjoy that.
Yeah.
I thought it was... At least I explained myself, and I was expecting, why do you have a Benoit in here? But anyway,
I'll shoot with my invisible gun hand.
Let's do it.
Put Benoit in your game. We didn't make it.
In obviously this, we got Bad Luck Fale, Bushi, El Desperado, El Fantasmo, Evil, Hiroki Goto, Hiromu Takahashi, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Jay White, Juice Robinson, which means I can make my tag team known as Orange Cassidy and Juice Robinson. What is it, boys?
Orange juice.
100% orange juice.
No, the team name's Pulp Friction, you fucks. Anyway, Kazuchika Okada, Kenta. Obviously, by the way, the Bullet Club will be in here. Kota Ibushi, Minoru Suzuki, Robbie Eagles, Rocky Romero, a part of Roppongi 3K.
Which means, good God, the Golden Elite in AEW, sign me the fuck up.
Yep. What? Who said what?
The Golden Lovers are back, boys.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
And they're teaming with the Young Bucks.
Yes.
What's not to love?
You also have Sanada, Shingo Takagi, Sho, Tamatanga, Tangaloa, Tetsuya Naito,
a.k.a. God.
Tomohiro Ishii.
Short for Gorillas of Destiny.
Yes. Tomohiro Ishii, Yo.
Which, by the way, Ishii, stop fucking headbutting people.
Yeah, please. Yoshihashi, Taka Michinoku, Tiger Mask 4. Toru Yano, because he's fucking hilarious. Yojiro Takahashi, aka the Tokyo Pimp, along with Pizza as his manager, Will Ospreay, and Zack Sabre Jr. So that's the Year 1 pack. Here's the All-In pack. DLC Year 2 roster. So here we go. Bandito, Bully Ray, Cheeseburger, Deonna Purrazzo, Ethan Page, Flip Gordon. Yes. Deonna Purrazzo.
Wait. You've got Cheeseburger in this. Why do you not have our boy Bacon Brad Hollister?
Because he didn't show up. You want me to say he wasn't there? I couldn't put everybody that wasn't there in this pack. Anyway, Ethan Page, Flip Gordon. His other tag team member is in this pack because the North. You got to have the North if you're going to have one of them. Yeah. Flip Gordon, Glacier, Jay Briscoe.
As well as
Mark Briscoe, who's in there. Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, Jimmy Jacobs, Jordan Grace, Josh Alexander, the other tag team member of the North, Madison Rain, Matt Cross, Marty Scurll, Moose, Nick Aldis, Stu Bennett. I put Stu Bennett in here because if you're going to have him as a commentator for the NWA Power DLC, you might as well have him in the All-In pack. Tommy Dreamer, The Hurricane, and Tim Storm. These are all people that were either on screen, except for the addition of Josh Alexander and Stu Bennett, or backstage at All-In when it happened. So, yeah. And in a managerial role, whatever, obviously. So, Starrcast on Fight. DLC Year 3 roster. The original Starrcast. The first one they ever had. The members that were at Starrcast will be crucial. This is a crucial pack. And there's some funny members in there, too, and I know John will appreciate one of them. Hey, Big Vinny V and Brian Alvarez. Because fucking make people pissed. Why not? Angelina Love, Brutus Beefcake on top of that. CM Punk, it's a long shot. It's a long shot, but if what he says is true, and he says, technically, I can do whatever the fuck I want because I don't work for WWE, let's put it to the test, right? Christian Cage, same thing as the explanation for CM Punk. Dalton Castle, who was there. David Arquette, who was also there. Eddie Kingston, James Storm, Kevin Nash, Mikey Whipwreck, Raven, Rey Mysterio, because by that point his contract, I believe, would be up, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Sammy Callahan, Sandman, Sean Waltman, Scott Hall, Scott Steiner, Shaggy 2 Dope, yes, the ICP were there, Shane Douglas, Shannon Moore, Sean Davari, Sting, Tara, Tessa Blanchard, Vita Scott, Velvet Sky, and Violent J. So there you go. And now the MMA pack. This is the final pack. Now hold on.
And needless to say, this is going to be Mike's favorite pack.
Yeah.
Before everybody goes... Oh, where's the main question for the MMA pack? I don't know where the fuck it went. I feel like it went somewhere. But the reason why we're having the MMA pack, just in case I don't see the PowerPoint slide anywhere, is because AEW has done MMA so fucking well by mixing the way they mix them. It's great. The way they have meshed the two worlds together is impeccable. Watch AEW Countdown to Revolution. That's the best example of that, because Randy Couture shows Jon Moxley how to counter the spinning back elbow, aka the Judas effect, into a back suplex, and also how to get out of the walls of Jericho, aka the Boston Crab, which is a legitimate MMA submission move. So, this is how they did MMA right.
Well,
and if you're going to have MMA fighters, might as well have them in a fantasy game. Why the hell not?
By the way, on that point that you said, it's kind of sort of a actual MMA move. It was done for like one mixed martial art match.
It still hurts. If you can apply it, it still hurts.
True.
That being said, Anderson Silva, Antonio R. Nogueira, Bast Rutten, Bob Sapp, Cain Velasquez, Chuck Liddell, Conor McGregor, and Dan Severn already.
Which by the way, if you're putting Bas Rutten in your MMA roster, you are literally putting crack in your game.
I'm well aware.
Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Bas Rutten. And here we're going into the men's room.
Oh, that was that him?
Yeah, that's him, bro.
Beating the shit out of little guy.
Next, Derek Lewis, Don Fry, Frank Shamrock, Fedor Emelianenko, Heidi Hidehiko. I am gonna fuck Hidehiko Yoshida, Josh Barnett, Ken Shamrock. So yes, the Shamrock brothers as a tag team, you can do. Khabib Nurmagomedov. If you're gonna have Conor McGregor, you have to have his ultimate rival. It's just there's no other way around it.
Real quick,
you can have your rematch the way you wanted it to.
Yes. Real quick.
Yeah.
I'm here with the winner, Derek Lewis. Derek, why don't you take your pants off? My balls
was hot.
I understand. One thing I do want to say, out of all the people on this fucking screen that we can see right now,
yes,
I hope somebody asked the question, why did you pick Josh Barnett? And it's like, well, Kenny Omega's the toughest weeb in wrestling. This is the toughest weeb in the MMA world.
Right.
So why the fuck not?
Exactly.
Battle of the Weebs.
Might as well.
Battle of the badass weaves.
And one final thing before we continue.
And Bloodsport.
Great part of Josh Barnett's career, he was doing an interview. One of the other athletes broke his nose, and he fixed it on the spot with 2 pens.
Fair enough. All right, let's get through this PowerPoint for the love of God, because John has to go to bed soon, and I want to wrap this up here. Okay, Miko Krokop, Randy Couture, Rampage Jackson, and Tito Ortiz. That's the obvious big four right there. So there you go. And that rounds out the MMA pack. Now, here's some more quick maths. Base game will have 137 characters. DLC will add 106. 137 plus 106 equals 243 characters.
And you got 200 creator slots on top of that.
So it's about 443
altogether. Exactly.
Which
now,
is incredible.
Main question. Why will I have to buy the packs individually, or must I buy a brand new... Actually, hold on, because I want to make sure the sound is on for this shit, because sometimes Skype likes to be a dickhead, as we have seen in the past.
As we have seen in many, many occasions.
Yes. So, will I have to buy the packs individually, or must I buy a brand new copy of the game with updated game roster? The answer to the question... Yes! Yes! You can do both. You can do
you
both.
If you thought that James and I making a PowerPoint presentation wasn't going to have a fucking meme in there,
you're
wait till
dead
you get to
wrong.
A dead meme.
You obviously do not know these two.
The way that James and I are going to describe this easily is actually, because I can give an example, is Street Fighter 4. When SF4 first came out, you had the Vanilla Edition, Super, you had Super Arcade, and Ultra. And you could buy those individually at the store, but you could also go onto your console and purchase them on there as well, so you didn't have to constantly try to re-up your game. All you had to do was take your SF4 disc, put it in your console, and just download the later editions when they came out.
Exactly.
It makes it so much easier, and it saves so much time, and nobody's sitting there going, I can't wait to download this instead of having to go to the fucking store, spend $60 more on the exact same game again instead of spending $15, where I already purchased the original edition.
Exactly. That being said, let's go to the next one. No, we get it. Shut up.
Thanks,
All right.
Bison. He's a hero.
Next
He's gonna
question.
take pollution down to 0.
What will I be getting if I decide to pre-order the game? What benefits / extra stuff would I get if I decide to pre-order it? Well,
it's not a glow-in-the-dark condom, that's what I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah. Pre-order bonuses, obviously. As DLC becomes available, it's
for free. Free!
Damn, commie.
May he rest in communist heaven.
That's the word. Instead of Robbie Rotten, he's Commie Rotten.
Commie Rotten.
That's
So
fucking
yes,
good.
that's the obvious one. No, we get it. As the game at launch will be $60. I think I messed up the font on that, but whatever. However, pre-order will be $80. Yeah. Oh well. However, pre-order will be $80 for everything, including characters, stages, moves, music, etc.
So you're pretty much paying
That's a low price. Wow! That's a low price.
I love
Wow! That's a low price. Is it? Is it really? Wow! That's a low price. I
Not everything has to be communist, James.
Why? Communism is hilarious.
If
you do it, right? It doesn't work. That's not like it doesn't work.
Exactly. Next.
Anyway.
Yep. So yeah. Shut up. So as you were saying, Mike, sorry, and then we'll go over to the other pre-order bonuses, and that will be almost pretty much wrap it up.
Yep.
Do you wanted to say something? Go for it.
Oh no, it's fine. I was just gonna say that to the people that are spending the pre-order bonus, the extra $20 is for the developer primarily, so that way they're able to have that little extra bit of cash to fix models up and get more stuff done, instead of doing it towards, hey, so thanks for the pre-order cash. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do that.
You get nothing for your extra cash. No, when
All
you
right.
game, you get everything that is included for DLC for free.
All right. So I'm going to assign Casey and Nikos and myself with things to read. So Nikos, you will read number 2 and the thing down below. Casey, you will read number 1 and 3, and I will read number 4. So,
all right.
Other pre-order perks should be:
first and foremost, you will gain free access to all DLC content as the packs become available for download.
Yes.
You'll get a signed poster with either Cody, Kenny Omega, John Moxley, the Bucks, Hangman Page, and the rarest being Le Champion, Chris Jericho.
With a little bit of the bubbly.
Yes.
Oh, I wish, though. I really wish.
Oh, that would be great.
That would be great. If you throw in an extra $40 on top of the pre-order pricing for a grand total of $120, you will get everything listed above, along with a Funko Pop figure of an athlete to be selected at random or of the buyer's choice.
Of the buyer's choice.
Okay. As well as a T-shirt, also of the buyer's choice, and an AEW 3-disc CD set of all AEW entrance music and show/PPV themes. One hell of a way to bolster your iTunes library.
Mm-hmm.
You will also be given a colorful Dynamite metal case cover of the video game, as well as a Dynamite colorful controller skin, depending on what version of the game you have purchased.
For $160, if you pay an extra $40 on top of that, you will get all listed above, including a statuette of an AEW wrestler of the buyer's choice, and an entire Season 1-4 DVD/Blu-ray collection of AEW Dynamite, along with a separate collection of all AEW pay-per-views with countdown shows in the DVD extras.
However, Nikos,
no matter which you pay, 5,500 lucky buyers will get 2 tickets to AEW Revolution 5 inside TAAA Bank Field, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars, along with complete hotel and airfare accommodations, additional tickets to Starrcast, and a chance to meet the crew in an AEW post-party bash inside David's place.
And that, my friends, is how you sell your fucking game.
Because who's not going to want to spend the extra $80 to get tickets?
Exactly.
That's $80 for front row seats. That's a fucking steal.
We love it, boys, when a plan comes together. And that is it. So, what does everybody think? We will start off with John, because I'm sure he'll have to go the minute he gives his grade. So, you got, as we said, you got the F range, you got the D range, you got the C range, you got the B range, A range, and S rank. What do you got?
I put it in the A rank. Like, it's a game definitely that I would consider buying. You know, I enjoy all the variety, how you guys are trying to make it feel that it's, you know, in a very immersive gaming experience, which, in my opinion, wrestling hasn't had in over, what,
God
since...
knows how long, yeah.
That's what, 2K14? Was that probably the last really good
Probably,
game they
yeah.
had?
Yeah, that's what we say all the time, yeah.
So, I'd be very interested in buying it. And especially, like, buying a non-WWE-centric wrestling game that's actually good.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I mean, I like TNA Impact for its graphics and anything, but it felt like it was rushed through the development stage.
Yes, exactly. Agreed. Yeah, no, fair enough, John. And yeah, do you want to stay here for a little longer once I ask everybody else, or do you want to?
I gotta get up at like 4 o'clock tomorrow. So
there you go. Hey, it was a little. At least it was only 10 minutes over, and not too long after that. So, where can they find you, if anywhere?
On Twitter.
At BJ.
At BJ's, yeah.
Yeah, at BJ.
Knock in the glass, say hello.
Yeah. What about on Twitter?
Don't come in now. Stay home.
Yeah.
What about on Twitter?
At KingTut2157. That's the Twitter account.
All right, John. Well, thank you for joining us, and we appreciate your honest feedback. Oh, also, Owen's question always: what percentage out of the A range?
What?
Apparently, he doesn't. Just go A. Just go A.
Yeah, just go A. Whatever the hell that is.
There you go. All right, fair enough. All right, see you, brother.
See you.
All right, Matt, you're up next. What is your rating for this PowerPoint presentation, and like, what is your rank?
Sorry, you caught me after just drinking some of my water.
All right, wrote that.
When do I get the pre-order?
Huh?
When do I get the pre-order?
When the game starts to actually be developed, if it's developed like this.
Well, which pre-order would you want, Matt?
We should send this video once it's being posted to Cody's Twitter account.
I'm already on
just to give him an idea.
I probably just pre-order base game, to be honest. I'm not one for collector's editions of anything.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But still, at least that's fine. But still, what would you rate it? What would you rate the whole presentation? Grade wise.
Give it like maybe an A.
Maybe an A. Well, fair enough. We got 2 A's. Let's see if we can get a 3 for 3 A's. That means we pretty much got a golden star. Mystery Man. Mystery Man, or MP as your emoticon says. What is your grade for this PowerPoint presentation and general feel of this?
I'd give you guys an A. I thought you guys put a lot of work into it. I thought it was really well done. There's a lot that went into that. I can tell. I can tell that it wasn't an overnight thing.
No,
because we spent the past 3 hours talking about it.
Dude, we spent a whole, what was it, like a week putting that together?
I believe it. It seems very well thought out and everything. And yes, I'd definitely give it an A. I could spend another, 3 hours talking about details in the game too.
Yeah, 100%. I would love to spend another 3 hours, but we only are limited to probably I would say 17 minutes before the show goes off the air. So
right,
keep it to that, obviously. So any questions, Matt and Mystery Man, that you guys have about the game? And also, if you're watching in the comments and you like this video so far, smash that like button and comment. Your questions will probably be interacting with you in the chat as it's premiering. Continue.
Now, my question is, so I think it was 2K15 or 2K16 that had it.
Yeah.
There won't be a limit on what you can put on your customized character, right?
Hell no.
No. God, no.
I think we even said in the PowerPoint, all the creation suite options would be from all the way from WrestleMania 2000 all the way to 2K18. All the features that they added on, and then everything that was taken out would just be added back onto that. Or at least something like that.
I have a new question.
Go.
Now, when it comes to posture and how the character moves, would that be under you changing their moveset in the wrestling settings? Or would it be in the creation of the wrestler?
That would be a Mike question.
Actually, that's a very good question. Well, it's more the factor that back in, and I'll give the example for No Mercy and WrestleMania 19, 18, and Day of Reckoning, you could select a specific stance, style, and motion for how your character went down to the ring, how they got into the ring, how they acted in the ring. What were they like when they got hit in the face and they fucking busted open? Were they passive about the situation? Did they act relatively normal? Did they try to become defensive? Were they more aggressive because of that? These are these small, tiny things that nobody thinks about that need to be stretched out and thought about as a big primary. Mm-hmm. The big thing with this, and this is the most important bit to this, and I think Casey, Nikos, and James can agree, the general creation kit should allow an individual like you, Mr. Mystery Person, and anybody else that is listening or watching this to be able to create and make anybody that they want. It's not just a limitation because the system goes, well, you could wear the mask, but you
it costs you 12 points.
You don't have enough points, so you're going to be you're going to have to be getting rid of stuff. No. If I have a whole gimmick and how I dress, then I should be able to dress with that gimmick in mind.
Yeah, exactly. You should not have to have a limit and be creatively stifled because they put a limit on shit, especially when there was no need for it at all. Especially when you look at games that give you so many more creative options compared to 2K20. It makes no sense. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. Anyway, any questions from you, Mystery Person? What do you got? Any questions on your end?
I think it's more some general statements or maybe perhaps wants.
Go for it.
I think it'd be very cool if they, when we went back to the player screen of what players were on the roster, if they were to, put the title logo of the world champion for Moxley when you're selecting his character.
Yeah, very true.
things like that, and also things like stables. You can do that for stables. If somebody's a part of a stable, they'll have a certain little logo next to their name, or just things like that. And I think another thing they could borrow from is like if you borrow like from Madden, like the player cards where you can look at like stats and stuff. I think they can implement that in some interesting ways, especially with the wins and losses.
Well,
I agree.
Well, I see where you're coming from as a means of imparting information about a character in game to the player.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want that to be a thing of, okay, I want to build my team completely based around these player cards.
Right.
That just doesn't make sense at the end of the day.
Right, and I we'll see if it goes that way or not. It's going to be kind of interesting to see which way.
If you give the player the ability to do whatever they feel like they have to do, you're going to see some crazy shit in the first year the game is out.
Oh, that's my thought too.
Crazy fucking shit.
The more freedom they give us, the better. I mean, that's what I hope is
Absolutely.
that they give us a game that gives us so much autonomy. Like
And
give me the ability to do this thumbtack somehow.
And if you were paying,
barbed wire.
bring back the barbed wire. And if Matt, mystery person, if you were paying attention throughout that entire PowerPoint, you will notice that we presented our ideas for the design of this game from the standpoint of CAW creators.
Yes.
Right.
Because we're CAW creators. Like the four of us, the five of us actually in here, Matt included, are a part of a CAW league that Mike and I and Casey primarily run. Really, I mean, and Nikos has joined in as well too, and Matt as well creatively. So it would be very liberating to have a game like that because oh my god, it'd be so much easier.
Well,
shit we can do with it.
I'll let the cat out of the bag here. I'm not real familiar with CAW, but I am, an avid, I've always played wrestling games growing up, and as well I'm an artist, and so I kind of have a unique perspective coming into this kind of cold, and like I thought that was. Hopefully it was added to it,
Yeah, 100%. Matt, you have any more questions on your end, my dude?
Matt's muted.
Yeah, I was wondering why he was muted, actually.
I muted myself for a second. I was opening something, and I did that to
Wait, so what were you? Any more questions on your end? You think?
No, that's about it.
Any more general statements, mystery person?
Not too much. I think the more this game lends itself to sort of an open world environment in the wrestling environment sense. I think the better. The more freedom they give us.
No Mercy / SmackDown. Here comes the pain element to it.
Yeah, and then also give me the ability to do things with like chairs. Like let me set them up sideways. Let me take a ladder and put it from the ring to the announce table. Let me get creative. Like
let me stack like five chairs on top of each other, like Kevin Owens did for a Rumble, right?
Dude, let me take motherfucker and beat his ass all throughout the ring, the ringside, the crowd, the backstage, all in one continuous fluid match.
Right.
Yeah, and let there be blood everywhere.
Give us the ability to break a glass table like Moxley did with Omega in episode 1 or 2 of Dynamite?
That would be cool. Yeah. And the thumbtacks and the barbed wire chairs and
bring it all in. Come on.
Yeah, agreed.
Let us go fucking ham.
Yeah, and like you said, like I said, you could spend a whole nother podcast.
Hold on, Mike's gonna say something. Continue.
And don't. And I have to say this because it's so fucking important, and I don't know if Matt knows about it. Do not let me give my fucking wrestlers superpowers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like in
such as
2K20.
turning into steel or punching electricity out of my fucking hands.
Or giving them the ability to do a Shoryuken, or throwing your opponents into the open mouths of alligators.
Let's go to the Janela zone.
That I just thought of.
Yeah, it's bad.
That's dumb shit, dude. Like we're talking about Like, that's in a wrestling game. That's in the current 2K games. Oh, when you're playing as Roman, you can now allow him to fucking create this super move with his Superman punch, where he throws one punch, and the human being in front of him just pretty much explodes into energy and electricity. And you're like,
why? Just
why? Why is that in here?
Why?
I do have one question.
Go
for it.
So how will how would the game handle, like, leaving the stage and going backstage?
We're following in the WrestleMania. No, we're following the
WWF No Mercy / SmackDown Here Comes the Pain method of doing it.
So it's going to be loading, like small, really minor loading, because it's the fact of big fucking arena, big venue, all crowded, it's animated, things like that. It's going to have a loading process, or just make it a cutscene. If I have a guy by the back of the head like this, and I'm pulling him towards the back, just keep the animation, and then I throw him on the ground when we get to the backstage. It's that easy.
Yes.
If it's on the PS5, you may avoid the loading screens completely.
I do like the idea of having it be a cutscene transition, though.
Which is fine, so that way you can load stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would take that aspect of 2K20 with the cutscene physics. Just don't make him so boring where he just looks at him after he beat him up for so long, and then the guy just gets up and follows him, then runs into him to the point where he gets ducked onto the floor. That's dumb.
Or he gets stuck in a trash can, or gets stuck into a fucking table, and you're like,
right,
I get to try to have a match with Table Man.
Right. Any more questions from Mystery Person?
Or general statements, for that matter?
Yes.
Not too much. You know, I hope we get something similar to what was it back in the old SmackDown games? Like, we used to have kind of like a story mode or sort of a, I don't know if you want to call it a franchise.
Yeah, no,
like,
absolutely.
I mean, like,
that would be involved. Yeah, absolutely.
It had so much freedom to it, and it had so much creativity to it. Like, there's so many branching storylines in those things.
I agree.
And until 2K got a hold of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, fair enough. Absolutely.
Because you can do a lot with that.
Yeah, I agree. Anybody from specifically from KC and Nikos, because while they helped us with bits and pieces of it, it was primarily made by Mike and I. So, do you guys have any questions?
Not really, no. I mean, I think we covered it all in the PowerPoint.
How the fuck do we get Cody and Kenny to see this?
I can answer that question. As soon as this as soon as this video is published on YouTube, we could just find a way to copy the link and send it to their Twitter accounts.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It doesn't just have to be us. How about this? This is where you, the fans, come in. If you liked our idea, if you think our idea was on point, if you think that this should be how AEW should try to get the video game made, please send this to them, because obviously it does not have to be right away. They could start like very, very slowly with it, obviously, and then go from there. But send this to them. Send it to them on Twitter. Blow up their Twitter. Give them, send them an Insta DM. Send it to them everywhere. If you're seeing this, send it to them, because I think this would be a really, really cool concept for a video game. And when you send this, say again. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Nikos.
And if you have critiques on what we could have included for this video game idea,
by all
means, in the comments or in the live chat, and we'll answer your questions as the video rolls.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely let us know. Share it everywhere that you possibly can, especially to the elite, especially to any AEW wrestler that you think would be interested in video games, like a Kenny Omega, like a Young Bucks, maybe even like a Cody. Definitely send it to them, because that would be cool. Because it's not just us that has to promote it. I think with a joint effort between all of us, it would really work out, and maybe enough people send it to them that they might see this. I know it's a 3-hour production, but at the end of the day, I think what we have presented could be the best way to go about the AEW video game.
We also do have a budget solution as well on how to do it correctly.
Yes, 100%. And if you want, you could talk about the budget solution real quick.
I mean, it's relatively simple. It's God, I'll go over it as fast as I possibly can, but it might take a minute or two.
Yeah.
So it's just primarily making revenue cuts, simple, small things such as you don't have to do every single stage that we put in here. You don't have to put every single wrestler that we put in here. It's just a layout of what you could possibly do.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be done that way.
Oh, fucking cut me off, cunt.
Continue.
Come down to your house and give you COVID-19. Swear to God.
Anyway, continue.
It's just more the fact if you're trying to make the most amount of money out of this game, you got to spend a little bit of cash as well to continue that statement. I believe that all party content, such as if you're going to get New Japan to sign over a couple of their athletes into the game, the correct way to do that is to give them at least a 25% profit altogether when it comes to the DLC pack, so that way over time they're making more and more money off the game, and they have a 4-year contract on that whole licensing. Right. So that way these characters can stay in the game while they're in it. And the company that has them hired is still making money. The wrestlers that are in here are also still making money. And I'm not sure what price we were going to go for the packs, but I'd probably say if you're buying them individually, you missed the pre-order, you're getting a lot. You're not getting like a minor amount. It's not going to be a $5 pack, a 10, a 20.
No. You're getting a lot of characters for the
$5 pack altogether, but you're getting a whole bunch of shit. You're getting stages, you're getting venues, you're getting more characters, moves.
I would probably go for the $14.99 price point.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
People are going to buy it. You got to think about how many people are going to buy it. I'm going to say 20.
Yeah.
It's a good round number, and you're able to do a lot with a $20 bill.
Or if you want to do the pricing because everybody likes the fancy $9.99 amount numbers, $19.99, something like that. I don't know, but yeah, no, that's good. That's a.
I'm just giving it in a perspective where if it's business based, you need to make sure that the fan that is paying for it will want to continue to pay for that price, and on top of that, just do fucking. You know who's the greatest playtester in the world? It's not the guy with the college degree. It's none of these guys. It's not even the YouTuber that thinks that he's a fucking or she is a actual playtester. It's the gamer from home that you can easily just say, okay, so what's the big complaint about? Okay, so how do we fix that?
It's the gamer at home who does this all the time as a hobby. It's the speedrunner who does this for fun.
Yeah, as much as I enjoy Madden, I do that with Madden too. There's a lot of it that I look at and I'm like, man, that could be better. That could be better. They could add that back in.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
At this point in the game, and this point when it comes to mass marketing to a larger audience that's gone on for the past, 50, 60 years now, listening to your fan base and hearing what their complaints are is important. Now, fighting games are completely different for the simple fact that if something's broken, like, reuse Fireball is too slow. It needs to speed up. Those are fixes that can happen. Scorpion Spear is too fast. I can't block it. It's impossible to block. Nobody's been able to block it since it came out. That can be fixed. Kenny Omega, great example. His V-trigger, impossible to reverse. What we'll take it and we'll slow it down by maybe a frame or two, so that way we're able to get more of a reversal, more of an actual reversal out of it.
Right, exactly.
These are the important things. Do not treat this like a sports game. Treat it like it's a fighting game.
Yes.
Exactly.
Do it like that.
We cannot stress that enough.
Now, for the people that are interested in online, and I'll make this also very quick, because we only kind of brushed over it, the net code, I'm going to be 100% honest on, is not going to be rollback. Not going to allow rollback net code. If you're going to contact fucking anybody for net code, go talk to Iron Galaxy. They figured it out.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Killer Instinct ran as smooth as butter the day when it fucking first came out because they used a system that made it work.
Yeah.
If you're able to do that, then you're all set and ready to go. To the people that are playing on PC, I wouldn't recommend modding the game or being the asshole who puts all the cutscenes and stuff in case if they decide to do a big, huge story mode online the first fucking day it comes out.
Right.
Because that's totally unfair.
Don't be that person. You look like an asshole. Wait a couple weeks, put it out over time. Say you're doing a let's play, put it in parts. Don't do a whole. Well, I beat the game in about 12 hours. Here's all the cutscenes and how I played it.
Yeah, that's why Final Fantasy's company did what they did when they
Square Square Enix had every single right to do that.
Yeah.
And lastly, this is the big important one. CAW creation is going to be as fluent as it needs to be.
Yes.
The simple fact that content creator like me, James, Casey, Nikos, and Matt, when we're all working together and trying to get this thing proper and properly made, we're able to not only take the game that you are handing to us and work on off of those points, but we're also able to take that and entertain a whole new audience with a brand new conceptual idea. Hey, what if we made it Dragon Ball? Well, what if we made it this? What if we made it that? What if we did this type of wrestling?
Right.
It allows an audience to do so much more.
Yep, and it allows an audience to enjoy CAW creations for what they used to be as well. So there you go.
Well, regardless of whether or not AEW decides to follow our model, at the end of the day, I just hope the game is good, and I really hope it gives the fan base a new experience, an exciting experience, and just something that they can have fun with.
Give it some fucking longevity, please. I'm so sick of the fucking wrestling title. It's monotonous. It's so monotonous.
It is.
It's utterly monotonous, and I gotta say, as a closeout to this video, we really hate it when things don't work the way we want them to, especially when we're trying to make a CAW league like WIW. But we love it when a game allows us to go ham, go nuts, and not be hindered.
Right.
And we fucking love it when a plan comes together.
Damn right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the Indie Force tonight. Subscribe, turn on that post notification bell. Make sure you leave a comment in the live chat and down in the comment section down below, or actually our comment section's above now with the new YouTube update. And make sure you smash that like button and favorite this video. We'll see you next time on regular Indie Force. We got a lot to cover on that episode. Good night from Weymouth.